Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Georgetown High School and Eagle Field for today's ball game. The makeup from last night. A lot of things on the men today to make baseball happen here at Georgetown High School. Bastrop Bears on the road. They're going to play their home game here at Georgetown thanks to the turf field, so we can get this one in before Friday nights. So the Bastrop Bears come in here to Georgetown High School and Eagle Field. They will be the designated home team here for this ball game that starts at 5 p.m., just about 14 minutes down the road. Live here on SHN. I'm Wally Harmon alongside today Dave England with us, and we'll go to Dave here in a sec with a weather update as we have to watch that. Last night, Dave, we were trapped down there in Bastrop. We went to down to the game. That lightning strike started. We went and found some cover and found some protection underneath a big overpass as the hailstorm hit there quickly in Bastrop. But kind of got trapped down there in Bastrop land, a very unwelcoming atmosphere from that town of Bastrop. But they got a lot of rain in a short amount of time, and that field unplayable now today.
I've always enjoyed going down there to Bastrop to, it's just such a neat venue down there. It's beautiful down there in that kind of river bottom area. But unfortunately, there was a storm that we had been watching coming out of probably south of Luling. And by the time it got to Bastrop, we were underneath the Highway 71 overpass because it was dumping hail. And shortly thereafter, we saw the Georgetown school bus drive by, headed back to Georgetown. We're like, well, I guess we're going home. But here we are tonight, and we'll be, keeping tabs on the weather again tonight. But Bastrop is the home team. It was their senior night last night, and that's why they really wanted to try and play last night for the youngsters to have their final ball game as seniors there in Bastrop.
And Coach even said their administration wanted to try to play it there, just not playable in that field, a dirt infield, grass field, and they had already taken a lot of abuse from the rain the last 2 and 3 weeks. And so that downpour last night, even a short amount of time, then more rain again this morning. I tell you what, a lot of rain in Austin this morning as I drove around at work, Pflugerville area down into Austin to our office. And now it's a pretty sight right now, a good wind coming in from center field. But we have to watch the weather in the background. I know we're under a tornado watch here in Williamson County, along with several other counties, at least through 10 p.m. What does our weather look like for the evening here as we start in about 10 minutes at 5 p.m.?
Right, Wally, they did move the game up because we do have some weather coming in later tonight, probably around 10 o'clock, thunderstorms, and we've got a good potential for upwards of baseball-size hail, speaking of baseball. And when they start talking about baseball-size hail, Doppler Dave starts paying attention. But it's partly cloudy here at the baseball stadium, 84 degrees, and we've got a little bit of a breeze out of the southeast at 11 miles an hour. But it's nice. It's comfortable right now, but it's pretty humid, and we are under a severe thunderstorm watch and a tornado watch, and there's already probably a Doppler-indicated tornado up near Valley Mills and one near Meridian. So we're just going to be watching as Wally calls the game, I'll be doing my thing over here and watching the radar close because we've got an outfield camera out there. We need to make sure that nothing happens to it. But it's a pretty day right now. Just a little warm, but we will have a light crowd joining us tonight because of the 5 o'clock start. So hopefully you're in your car sitting in traffic enjoying some Eagle baseball.
And it's going to be a beautiful night here from inside the SHN broadcast booth. It's brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. Last night was going to be interesting with that weather. We are glad to be back in the friendly confines of Eagle Field here in the Dennis Alamon press box at Eagle Field. And tonight is Bastrop's home game in this best-of-2 series. And then Friday night back here at 7 p.m. is scheduled. The Georgetown Eagles will be the home team in the final game of district play. Saturday we talked about it when the Eagles were victorious over the Round Rock Dragons 7-2 in non-district play, that this district was going to come down to last-minute competition in this week. Every other team on the schedule got to play last night and got a game in, except for Georgetown and Bastrop. Elgin did their job and maintained themselves into sole second position in district standings by the 4-3 victory over the Hendrickson Hawks. The Eastview Patriots helped themselves out with an 8-1 victory over the Conley Cougars, and the Pflugerville Panthers helped themselves out with a 10-0 win over the Cedar Creek Eagles. So the district sits out 11-1. Georgetown, the district champions, and they are the number 1 seed that will come out of District 23. Elgin in second at 9-4. Pflugerville and Eastview both tied at 8-5. Hendrickson sits at 7-6. Cedar Creek at Bastrop at 4-8. Cedar Creek at 4-9, and Conley at 0-13. So right now, as it sits, Pflugerville and Eastview both tied. If it comes down to head-to-head, those two teams, Pflugerville got the 2-game sweep on Eastview, so I would assume they'll go to the head-to-head matchup between two teams. But Hendrickson's got something to say about that as they take on Elgin on Friday night. So Friday night, down to that last pitch, as you read on some of the Twitter accounts at Texas High School Baseball website, the last pitch that this comes down to on Friday night between all of these teams will end up settling District 23. But more importantly, right now we get ready for the Bastrop Bears, who come in 10-17-1 on the year, 4-8 in district play against your Eagles that are 17-12-1 and 11-1 in district play. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers. We specialize in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, door and windows, hand-hewn timbers, KDAT lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other. Visit us at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit the website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. G-Town Lumber and Supply brings you tonight's starting lineups. The Bastrop Bears are coached by Daniel Carrillo. His assistant coaches David Schaefer and Kelson Carr. Team manager is, I'm going to get it right. I told her I would make sure I got it right as she brought up the starting lineup. Addie Olvera, the student trainer for your Bastrop Bears. The starting lineup for the Bastrop Bears, leading it off playing second base, number 5, Austin Tabola. Batting second and pitching, number 23, Owen Boone. Batting third and playing right field, number 11, Elijah Vaquera. Batting fourth and playing third base, number 9, John Dawson. Batting fifth at shortstop, number 1, Peter Bacon. Batting sixth and catching, number 15, Valentin Regalado. Batting seventh at first baseman, number 20, Isaiah Rivas. Batting eighth and playing center field, number 7, Mason McClanahan. And batting ninth, the designated hitter, number 30, Easton Allen. So on the mound for the Bastrop Bears will be number 23, Owen Boone, to start things out for the Bastrop Bears. The starting lineup for your Georgetown Eagle, brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply. Head coach Jordan Vieira, assistant coaches Chad Bain, David Durrell, and Mike Cockrell. Head coach Jordan Vieira joined by manager and Mr. Baseball Jared Frimmel at home plate with the 2-man umpire crew and head coach Daniel Carrillo for the Bastrop Bears. Student trainer is Avery Mon. Stats are done by Carter Campbell, Grace King, Nicole Witt, and Ruby Hellman. Superintendent Emeritus through the June 30th date is Dr. Fred Brent, as he will step down and retire from public education. The interim superintendent is Lindsay Harris. Principal here at Georgetown High School, Brian Johnson. Athletic director for Georgetown ISD, Mr. Jason Dean. Athletic coordinator, Chuck Griffin. And the trainers, Chad Hennessy and Vanessa Rideau. The starting lineup for your Georgetown Eagles, leading it off and playing center field, the junior, number 17, Devin Peterson. Batting second, playing third base, the senior, number 4, Brady Peters. Batting third and playing second base, junior, number 20, Talon Ball. Batting fourth and on the mound tonight, the junior right-hander, number 21, Riley Leiniger. Batting fifth and playing shortstop, the senior, number 2, Eli Hellman. Batting sixth and playing left field, number 10, Andrew Nations. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, junior, number 11, Jackson Rainey. Batting eighth and catching, the senior, number 7, Chance Perdica. And batting ninth for your Eagles, the right fielder, senior, number 8, Jacob Fontasek. So it'll be Peterson, Peters, Ball in the top third, Leiniger, Hellman, and Nations in the middle third, Rainey, Pernica, and Fontasek in the bottom third for your Georgetown Eagles. Coach Vieira goes over instructions with the home plate umpire about where might be holes or gaps in the walls, the paddings with the home plate umpire and the visiting coach, Coach Carrillo. Down the lines here at Eagle Field, 323 down the left field and right field lines, 385 to the power alleys in left center and right center, 400 straight dead center field for this ballpark. An all-turf infield, the brown turf signifying the dirt, a beautiful layout here of Georgetown Eagle Field, the green turf infield, and an all-natural grass outfield here at Eagle Field. The beautiful wind out in the back. Didn't seem like a powerful wind right now, Dave. I know we can watch that the rest of the night, but a beautiful breeze here to cool things off under the beautiful clamshell of Eagle Field. Burkle Bachfield in the background. It was great as I pulled in today to get set up to see the football team going through their class period time of practice. They've been out early in the mornings for their spring football practice as Georgetown football and high school football underway for the spring season. And we look forward to that each and every year as they go through the spring. We'll have the spring game here not too long away here at Georgetown High School, and then the ever-dreaded summer wait as we wait for football to kick off in August for your Georgetown Eagles. Let's take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll have our national anthem, and then we'll be ready to play baseball. You're listening to Georgetown Eagle Baseball Live here on SHN Sports. Back here live at Eagle Field as the Bastrop Bears go through warm-ups here at the top of the first inning. The Bastrop Bears, the home team here in today's makeup game. They have the white pants with the black jerseys, numerals and lettering in maroon, outlined in white with the maroon hat and maroon socks. Your Georgetown Eagles, the visitors here in the ball game, white pants with the blue stripes. And then you have a new camouflage uniform top with a beautiful Eagles in capital block print lettering across the top and outlined in white, and then the numbers on the back in the Eagle blue with the white outline, blue helmets, and blue socks for your Georgetown Eagles. As they go through warm-ups here in the SHN broadcast booth, Matt Morrow, your sponsor, Borrow from Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com, NMLS 464148. Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow brings you the first inning of Georgetown baseball as well. The throwdown by the Bastrop catcher, Regalado, down to second base, and the Bastrop Bears ready to go. Here in the top of the first inning, you'll see Devin Peterson, Brady Peters, and Talon Ball for your Georgetown Eagles. Defensively for the Bastrop Bears, Ben Vaquera is in left field. McClanahan in center. Elijah Vaquera in right field. Dawson at third base. Bacon at shortstop. Tabola at second base. Rivas at first base. Behind the plate, Regalado. And Owen Boone, the left-hander, on the mound for the Bastrop Bears. He looks in and gets assigned the first pitch of the ball game, and we're underway. This one stays up and away. Ball one to Devin Peterson, the junior center fielder, as he leads it off for your Georgetown Eagles. After tonight's ball game, tomorrow night, live at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street, we'll have the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Stop in and visit us there on the patio. A beautiful night of baseball talk. As Devin Peterson foul tips this one back into the catcher's mitt for strike one. 1-1 to count to the leadoff man for your Georgetown Eagles. Coach Vieira will join me live there at the Golden Rule. A couple of Eagle players to be named later. We don't tell before we get to the show. The 1-1 pitch, outside corner, called strike two. 1-2 now the count to Devin Peterson as he leads things off here in the top of the first inning. The Georgetown Eagles, your visitors today as they make up the rainout game from Bastrop. The field unplayable down in Bastrop, so they agreed to move up here and play both games here today and Friday. The 1-2 pitch, and Peterson fouls it off down the first baseline. And it's going to go out of play. So Devin Peterson will stay alive as Rivas ran over towards the fence, but the ball just out of reach. So Devin Peterson stays alive in the leadoff slot for your Eagles here in the top of the first inning. And then Friday night back here live at Eagle Field, the Georgetown Eagles will welcome back these Bastrop Bears for game number 2. Boone from the windup, the 1-2 pitch to Peterson. That one stays way outside for ball 2, and the count evens at 2-2.
Folks, we apologize. The outfield camera is misbehaving on us, so just have got a 2-camera angle, which is still pretty good for a high school broadcast. But
and thrown together 5 p.m. for high school broadcast as we got up here last minute and got things thrown together to bring you Georgetown baseball. Boone looks in, gets the sign from Regalado, and the 2-2 pitch. Peterson hits it into left center field, the fly ball. The McClanahan, the center fielder, will range to his right and make the catch for out number 1. F1 in the book, F8 in the book, I apologize, to record the out of Peterson. And that'll bring up the third baseman, senior number 4, Brady Peters. Brady will step in from the right side with the bases empty and 1 out here in the top of the first inning. In the outfield for the Bastrop Bears, pretty much straight away, left field, center field, and right field. McClanahan about 3 steps left of the bag, looking out towards second base. The first pitch to Peters, just outside the outside corner for a ball. 1-0 the count. And if that's not enough baseball, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can also join us at 1 p.m. as the Cedar Ridge Raiders come in to take on your Eagles for a 1 p.m. non-district tilt to end the season. The 1-0 pitch sounds just high, ball 2. 2-0 the count to Brady Peters. But the Eagles will end regular season baseball on Saturday. 1 p.m. is the start time against the Cedar Ridge Raiders as they finish up preparations for the playoffs. Boone from the windup, the 2-0 pitch, and Peters will pop it up into right field. Eli Vaquera will charge in and make the catch for out number 2. F9 of the book to retire Peters. And that'll bring up the second baseman, number 20, Talon Ball. He'll step up with 2 outs and no one on here at the top of the first inning. So baseball here tonight. The coaches show tomorrow night, live from the Golden Rule. Baseball back here at Eagle Field Friday night against these same Bastrop Bears. And then Saturday against the Cedar Ridge Raiders at 1 p.m. Boone from the middle of the rubber. The first pitch to Talon Ball, and he takes it for a called strike. No balls and a strike to Talon Ball. The number 3 batter in the Eagle lineup here today. In the top of the first inning with 2 outs and the bases empty. Boone gets the sign and from the windup, the 0-1 pitch. Outside corner, catches for a called strike, and now no balls and 2 strikes to the second baseman, Talon Ball. Boone gets the sign from Regalado from the windup. The 0-2 pitch to Talon Ball. And Ball will pop it up down the first baseline, but it's going to curl out of play. So Talon's able to fight that one off, stay alive in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. A different 5 p.m. tilt. These two teams try to get this one knocked out before any weather comes into play here tonight so they can carry on with the Friday night game for game number 2 for the last game of district play. So we'll hope to get this in before any kind of weather hits. The 0-2 pitch to Ball, and Talon Ball pops it back or down the third baseline, but that one's going to curl out of play as well off the top of the indoor batting facility. And that one will come to settle into the gutter. And the ball count remains no balls and 2 strikes to Talon Ball with 2 outs here in the top of the first. Riley Leininger waits on deck should Talon Ball be able to reach base. Boone from the windup, the 0-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And the Eagles go in order here in the top of the first. After half an inning, Georgetown 0, Bastrop coming up to bat. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN Sports. Back here to Eagle Field, we go to the bottom of the first as Riley Leininger goes through his warm-ups here for the Georgetown Eagles. Back in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow and borrowfrommorrow.com. For all your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. Also brings you inning number 1 of Georgetown Eagle baseball. Leininger will face off against the top 3 men in the Bastrop Bear lineup. Austin Tabola, Owen Boone, and Elijah Vaquera. Leininger, the right-handed junior, goes through his warm-ups. Defensively for your Eagles, Nations in left, Peterson in center, Falta second, right field, Brady Peters at third base, Eli Hellman at shortstop, Talon Ball at second, David Fluitt down at first base. Behind the plate, Chance Pernican on the mound. The right-hander junior, Riley Leininger, as he gets ready to work here in the bottom half of the first. Austin Tabola, the shortstop or the second baseman, wears number 5, will step in from the right side. He's a senior here for the Bastrop Bears. The first pitch of the inning for Leininger in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Tabola. Leininger works from the first base side of the rubber from the windup. The 0-1 pitch and a chopped ball out in front of the mound. Leininger fields it. The throw to first. And it's down in the turf. There's going to be an error ruling there, as they would have had Tabola, but he reaches on an error. Not sure who they'll give it to. I'll try to check in with Game Changer here in a minute. But that'll be an error on the Eagles to allow the leadoff man aboard. So Tabola down at first base. And that'll bring up the pitcher, number 23, Owen Boone. Boone, a senior for the Bastrop Bears, steps in from the left side. No outs and a runner on first. Tabola gets the lead. Fluitt holds him on there. Leininger from the stretch. The first pitch to Boone. Hits it out to second. The line drive. Caught by Ball. Throw to first. Double play. What a job there by Talon Ball. Quick action as he grabbed the line drive and then throws behind the runner. Tabola at first base. And what a play to double off the runner at first. And now the Eagles back in business After the leadoff man reaches on the error, he gets doubled off. L4 in the book to record the out of Boone for out number 1. And then 4-3 on the put out on the force out to record the out on Tabola. And in steps Elijah Vaquera. He takes the first pitch on the inside for ball 1. The right fielder here, number 11, steps in from the left side. Vaquera, a senior as well for the Bears. The 1-0 pitch. Ball hit out towards second. Talonball will lay out for it, but can't get to it. And that's a 2-out single into right field for Elijah Vaquera. And the Bastrop Bears keep the inning alive with the 1-out base hit. First hit of the ball game for either team. And that'll bring up the third baseman, number 9, John Dawson. Dawson, a junior, will step in from the right side as Coach Carrillo gives off the signals for Vaquero and Dawson. Dawson will step in. Leininger will check out first base, then comes set in the stretch. The pitch to Dawson, breaking pitch in there for a called strike. Beautiful pitch there. 0-1 the count to Dawson. The shortstop, Peter Bacon, on deck for the Bastrop Bears. Should John Dawson, the third baseman, be able to extend the inning for Bastrop? 0-1 the count with 2 outs. Vaquero leads off first. Fluid holds him on. Leininger will throw over. The throw down in the dirt. Gets away from Fluid. But he'll track it down there by the coach's box. No harm, no foul there as Vaquero unable to advance. Oh, and 1 the count remains to John Dawson here, the third baseman. Leininger throws over to first again. Another pickoff attempt as Vaquero dives back in. Elijah, the right fielder, reaches on the 2-out single to right field. And now Leininger trying to keep him close there at first base. Leininger comes set. The 0-1 pitch, Vaquero off and running. Chance Pernicka will throw down, throws down second base side of the bag. But unable to hold on to it is Eli Hellman. So a stolen base for Elijah Vaquero, the first stolen base of the ball game. He evens out the count on the called strike. 1-1 now to Dawson. Leininger will come set in the stretch. 1-1 the count with 2 outs and a runner at second base for the Bastrop Bears here in the bottom of the first. Leininger looks back at second base. Vaquero not far off. The 1-1 pitch, the breaking pitch, fouled off back behind home plate. Pernicka will snag it, and it'll be a foul ball. 1-2 the count to John Dawson. Vaquero has to retreat as he took off on contact. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. If you're just joining, it's the rain out last night at Bastrop. The game moved here to Georgetown. Bastrop, the designated home team, here for game 1 of this best-of-2 series here on this ball game. And then we'll play again Friday night at 7 p.m. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. And Dawson is down for out number 3. The first strikeout issued by Riley Leininger. And the Bastrop Bears are down here in the bottom of the first. No runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. After 1 complete inning, 0-0 your score. More Eagle baseball continues after this on SHN. As we move to the top of the second inning, G-Town Lumber and Supply, located at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, brings you second inning action of Georgetown Eagle baseball. G-Town Lumber and Supply serves general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers, specializing in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, KDAT lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other. Visit us, 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit the website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. Back here in the SHN broadcast booth, Dave has abandoned the booth and headed to center field to take down the camera and the equipment to keep it out of any possible rain chances, as the weather seems to be messing with our signal. So we'll keep it on the basic back camera, and I'll keep you updated. The 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up here in the top of the second for your Eagles, Leininger, Hellman, and Nations, as Owen Boone goes back to the mound for his second inning of work here for the Bears. The first pitch to Leininger, he lays off and takes it low for ball 1. 14 pitches thrown to the 3 batters faced in the top of the first for Owen Boone. As he settles in here at the top of the second inning, Leininger, the junior lefty, steps in, bats left, throws right. The 1-0 pitch from Boone, and it's popped up left side of the infield. The third baseman, Dawson, gives chase into foul territory, but it's going to fall right in front of the catcher, Regalado, outside the third base dugout. So Leininger stays alive with the missed fly ball there in foul territory. 1-1 is now the count to the junior left-handed hitting Riley Leininger. Leininger even having a player reach base on an error, but get doubled off, and then the base hit with 2 outs. Only threw 9 innings in the bottom half of the inning of the first inning. He steps in here to lead things off for the Eagles in the top of the second. Boone from the windup gets the sign from Regalado and the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 1-2 now the count to the left-handed hitting Riley Leininger. Eli Hellman, the shortstop, on deck for your Eagles. Boone gets the sign and delivers the 1-2 pitch. Low and inside, ball 2. The count evens up at 2-2. That one squirts out behind Regalado. Boone now ready to go. The 2-2 pitch. And it stays up and in. Ball 3, and now a full count to Riley Leininger. He leads it off here in the top of the second for your Eagles. The payoff pitch, down and away, ball 4, and a leadoff walk issued to Riley Leininger. First walk of the ball game for Owen Boone, and now we'll have a courtesy runner for the pitcher, Riley Leininger. Looks like number 9, Noah Boris. The junior will come out to run for Riley Leininger. And now Eli Hellman, the right-handed hitting shortstop, will step in. No outs and a runner at first. Boone, the first pitch to Hellman, squares around a bunt and punches it down the first baseline. Boone up with it, throws the first in time. The sacrifice bunt by Eli Hellman moves up Noah Boris into scoring position with 1 out. A beautiful bunt there by Eli Hellman to move the runner over. 1-3 on the putout for out number 1. And that'll bring up the left fielder, number 10, Andrew Nations. Nations will step in from the left side with 1 out and a runner at second base. The scoreboard will come back into play when Dave gets back from taking down the camera out in center field to save us from any weather damage. And so I'll try to keep you updated. Runner at second, 1 out. And in steps Andrew Nations. The first pitch, he'll pull back the bunt attempt. They'll throw down behind Boris at second base. And a good job there by the shortstop Bacon to keep it from going into center field. But Boris was easily back to the bag at second base. A 1-0 the count to Nations. The junior left fielder steps back in for the left side. As Bacon gives a sign from shortstop to the pitcher, Owen Boone. Boris will lead off second base. Boone works from the third base side of the rubber in the stretch. He'll come set here and take a look back at second base. The 1-0 pitch to Nations. He'll bunt it down the third baseline. It's going to be tough to get him if it stays fair, but it rolls just foul. Boone picks it up right after it crosses the line. If that one stays fair, it's an infield bunt single for Andrew Nations, but it rolls just foul. So now the count 1 ball and 1 strike to Nations with 1 out and a runner at second base here in the top of the second. 0-0 your score. The Eagles down in order in the top of the first. The Bastrop Bears got a 2-out single but left the runner stranded on a strikeout by Leininger in the bottom of the first. Boone gets the sign. He comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. The 1-1 pitch. Nations lays off and takes it low and outside for ball 2. 2-1 the count to the left fielder, Andrew Nations, with Jackson Rainey, the junior designated hitter, on deck for the Eagles. Boone comes set, looks back at Boris. The 2-1 pitch. Nations a swing and a miss. Strike 2. 2-2 now the count to the left fielder, Andrew Nations. One out, a runner at second base. A leadoff walk to Riley Leininger. Noah Boris, the courtesy runner for the pitcher, Leininger. And he was advanced on the sacrifice bunt by Eli Hellman. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Nations with 1 out, the runner at second base. Boone gets the sign from Regalado and comes set in the stretch. The 2-2 pitch, and Nations fouls it off back to the screen. Stays alive in the at-bat, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Partly cloudy still here at Eagle Field and Georgetown High School. Still staying dry right now. A wind out of right field across the outfield, right to left. Boone comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. The 2-2 pitch down in the turf. A block there. Regalado comes up and tries to throw down, but a great jump by Noah Boris. So the wild pitch down in the dirt in the turf will allow the runner to move up to third base. Nice paying attention there by Noah Boris. And now a runner just 90 feet away for your Eagles with 1 out here in the top of the second. The payoff pitch. Nations takes it low and outside. Ball 4. And a 1-out walk has runners at the corner. At the corners. Second walk of the inning by Owen Boone. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitting DH, number 11, Jackson Rainey. With 1 out here in the top of the second. The Eagles threatening as they went down in order in the top of the first. And now 1 out and runners at the corners. And Rainey steps in, the number 7 hitter in the Eagle lineup. Chance Pernicka, the catcher, on deck for Georgetown. Owen Boone will come set from the stretch. The runner off, the pitch. And safe at third is Noah Boris. A nice play there by the catcher, Regalado. Had Boris picked off, but the third baseman, Dawson, couldn't hold on to the throwdown. As soon as he tried to apply the tag, the ball squirted out. But that's a stolen base for Andrew Nation, so now 2 runners in scoring position. First stolen base of the ball game, I record. And now runners at second and third. 1-0 the count to Jackson Rainey. Boone comes set, the 1-0 pitch. Rainey lays off and takes it on the outside corner for a called strike. 1-1 the count. Or correction now, home plate umpire said the first pitch to Rainey was a called strike, so no balls and 2 strikes to Jackson Rainey with 1 out and runners at second and third. Boone will come set from the stretch, the 0-2 pitch. And Rainey swinging a miss, strike 3 for out number 2. Second strikeout of the ball game for Boone. And 2 outs here with runners on second and third will bring up the catcher, Chance Pernicka. Pernicka steps in from the right side for his first at-bat of the ball game. With 2 outs and runners on second and third. Boone will come set in the stretch. The first pitch to Pernicka. Down in the turf. Nice block by Regalado, but it's 1-0 now to Pernicka. Boone gets the sign from Regalado. The 1-0 pitch outside, ball 2. The number 9 hitter, Jacob Faltasek, on deck. So Pernicka be able to extend the inning. The error in the bottom half of the first inning was recorded on the first baseman, David Fluitt. on the play at first base. Just to update that. Boone's 2-0 pitch and a base hit into left field. That'll score one for Georgetown and make it two as Andrew Nations off on his horse at contact. A 2 RBI single by Chance Pernica puts the Eagles up 2-0 over the Bastrop Bears here in the top of the second inning. A beautiful base hit to left field by Pernica. Scores Leininger, or make that Noah Boris, the courtesy runner from third base. Andrew Nations from second. And down at first base will be Cord Lawrence to run, courtesy run for the catcher, Chance Pernica, and that brings up Jacob Faltasek. A 2-out, 2 RBI single by Chance Pernica has the Eagles ahead here in the ball game in the top of the second inning, 2-0. Cord Lawrence will lead off first base. A nice lead there, held on by Rivas. Boone comes set in the stretch. The first pitch to Faltasek on the outside corner, called strike one. So a timely 2-out base hit by Pernica to knock in 2 runs. Gives the Eagles the 2-0 lead here in the top of the second. Cord Lawrence, courtesy running for Pernica, leads off first base. Rivas holds him on. Boone comes set. Throw over to first base, and Lawrence easily back standing at first base. Here the Georgetown dugout chirping down the third base side. The visitors here in the ball game, the rain-out makeup today at 5 o'clock here at Georgetown High School. Bastrop, the designated home team, making up yesterday's rain-out at Bastrop. Another throw over to first, and a high throw gets away from Rivas. And Cord Lawrence taking his time to get up. May have got hurt there as Rivas came down on him. May have stepped on his hand. See if Cord's okay down at first base. Looks like he'll be all right. Rivas with a little pat on the backside. 2 outs here in the top of the second, but a 2-out RBI single. A 2-out, 2 RBI single by Chance Pernica has Georgetown up 2-0. Runner at first base with 2 outs. Cord Lawrence leads off. 0-1 to count to Jacob Faltasek. The 0-1 pitch on the outside corner, called strike 2. And now Faltasek behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. As Georgetown continues their 2-out rally ways. I'll give Dave a chance to catch his breath as he just got the equipment out of center field. And now back with the scoreboard coming back to you here on the broadcast. The 0-2 pitch down low and inside in the turf for ball 1. 1-2 now the count to the senior right fielder Jacob Faltasek. Faltasek played a key role in Saturday's 7-2 win as Round Rock took a 1-0 lead in the top of the second inning, and Faltasek answered with a 2-out solo bomb to left field to even things up, and the Eagles got things going from there with a 7-2 victory over the Round Rock Dragons. The 1-2 pitch popped up right side of the infield. The second baseman, Tabola, he'll block the sun from his eyes and make the catch for out number 3, but not before your Eagles pick up 2 runs on 1 hit. No errors and 1 runner left on base. After 1.5, Georgetown 2, Bastrop 0. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply, specializing in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors, and windows, hand-hewn timbers, K-Dat Lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other, that is G-Town Lumber and Supply. Visit us 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit the website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. Back here in the SHN broadcast booth, we go to the bottom of the second inning. Georgetown took a 2-run lead in the top of the second, thanks to a 2-out, 2 RBI single by Chance Pernica. And now Leininger on to face The Bastrop Bears here in his second inning of work. Their first pitch to Peter Bacon is inside for a ball. The 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up here in the bottom of the second. Bacon, Regalado, and Rivas. The 1-0 pitch sent down the right field line. Flewitt tracks it into foul territory, gets around the first base umpire, and makes the catch for out number 1. P3 in the book to record the out of Bacon. And that'll bring up Valentin Regalado, the catcher. He'll step in from the right side with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Bastrop Bears. Correction, no runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Bastrop Bears. 2 runs, 1 hit, 1 error for your Eagles. The first pitch to Regalado down low for ball 1. 9 pitches thrown in the bottom of the first for Leininger as he faced 4 batters for the Bears. And now the 1-0 pitch to Regalado. Skips in there about 2.5 feet short for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Regalado, the number 6 hitter in the Bastrop lineup with Isaiah Rivas on deck for the Bears here in the bottom of the second inning. The 2-0 pitch from Leininger. And a ball slapped foul down the third baseline. 2 balls and 1 strike to count to Regalado. Here in the bottom of the second inning, Georgetown put up 2 in the top half of the inning. So Bastrop finds himself behind here early in the ball game. Leininger from the windup, the 2-1 pitch. And off the fist, Regalado pops it up down the first baseline, but it falls into no man's land for strike 2. This is in the Bermuda Triangle of defenders there as Pernica, Leininger, and Flewitt all gave chase. And it lands about 10 feet outside of the first base dugout. And now Regalado stays alive at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here in the bottom of the second, 1 out. And the base is empty for the Bastrop Bears. Regalado steps back in from the right side. Leininger from the first base side of the rubber gets the sign from the windup. The 2-2 pitch. This one sails high and now a full count to the catcher Regalado. 3 balls, 2 strikes on 1 out here in the bottom of the second. The Bears trail your Eagles by 2-0 after an inning and a half. The payoff pitch to Regalado. Breaking pitch down in the turf, ball 4. And that'll have a 1-out base runner for the Bastrop Bears. First walk of the game issued by Leininger. We'll see if a courtesy runner comes out here for the catcher Regalado. And it looks like it will be number 13. That's going to be Reagan Nilsson, a senior, to come out and run for the catcher Regalado. And in steps Isaiah Rivas, the first baseman for the Bastrop Bears. He'll step in from the right side with 1 out and a runner at first base here in the bottom of the second inning. Nilsson leads off first, held on by Flewitt. Leininger comes set in the stretch. The first pitch to Rivas, and he'll send it into right center field. Shallow. All players give chase, and Faltasek lays out for it, but can't make the catch. It lands right before the glove, and so it's going to be a 1-out single by Rivas. And now runners on first and second for the Bastrop Bears. So 1 out, second hit of the ball game for the Bears. That'll bring up Mason McClanahan, the center fielder, the number 8 hitter in the Bear lineup, with runners on first and second and 1 out. McClanahan will step in from the right side. McClanahan, a senior here for the Bears. 10 seniors on this Bastrop Bear team. McClanahan, the center fielder, in from the right side. Leininger comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. And he'll turn towards second to throw, but it gets away from Hellman into center field off his glove. But backing up there was Devin Peterson. And the runner Nilsson unable to advance to third. So McClanahan will get the signs and step back in at home plate. No balls and no strikes. 1 out, runners at first and second here in the bottom of the second for the Bastrop Bears. Leininger comes set. The first pitch to McClanahan. Not sure where it missed, but it was called a ball. Want to know the count to McClanahan, the 1-0 pitch. Popped up, but it's going to curl back out of play. The count 1-1. Dave, you were saying between China Springs and somewhere else, huh?
Yeah, between China Spring and Lacey Lakeview, about northwest of Waco, there's a good bit of hail and tornado warning out of that storm.
If you happen to be listening, seek shelter now.
Yeah, they were talking about baseball-sized hail in Central Texas, so that's the kind of stuff you need a football helmet and pads to be outside.
1-1 to count to McClanahan with one out and runners on first and second. Leininger comes set, takes a look back at second base. The 1-1 pitch. Outside corner, just misses for ball 2. 2-1 now the count to the center fielder, Mason McClanahan, with Easton Allen, the designated hitter, on deck for the Bears. McClanahan back in from the right side. Leininger comes set from the stretch. The 2-1 pitch and popped up. Pernicka's going to give chase. If it stays in play, it looks like he's got it, and Pernicka does. Makes the catch in foul territory for out number 2. P2 in the book to record the out of McClanahan. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter in the Bear lineup, number 30, the junior right-handed hitting DH, Easton Allen. The big guy steps in from the right side here in the bottom of the second with 2 outs now and runners at first and second base. Leininger comes set from the stretch, but Allen will take a timeout, step out of the box and gather himself and reset. Back in from the right side. Leininger comes set in the stretch. Takes a peek back at second base at Nilsson. The first pitch to Allen. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Like Allen hesitated there, couldn't make up his mind to pull the trigger. And swing and a miss, 0-1 the count. The 0-1 pitch from Leininger. And Allen swing and a miss, strike 2. 0-2 is Leininger way ahead of the DH and number 9 hitter in the Bear lineup. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Runners at first and second. A 1-out walk, a 1-out single. As runners at first and second base, and then a pop-up in foul territory. The 0-2 pitch, and Allen pops it up down the third base line. The runner's in full effect, and it's going to land fair. It's a base hit. That'll score 1. No one's covering third base, as Brady Peters and the shortstop Hellman gave chase into left center or left field down the line. It landed about 6 inches fair. So whichever side of the field you're on rooting for, it's either an ugly Texas leaguer or a beautiful Texas leaguer. An RBI single by Easton Allen. Scores Regalado from second base. And Rivas advances all the way to third base on that RBI single. So the first run of the ball game for the Bears. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. A first pitch to the leadoff man, Tabola. Misses low and outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Tabola. Tabola 0 for 1 in the ball game. Reached on an error in the first. The 1-0 pitch misses high, ball 2. 2-0 the count to Tabola with runners on first and third and 2 outs. A 2-out RBI single by the DH, Easton Allen. Scored Regalado, and now it's 2-1. 3-0 count, 2-1. Georgetown leads it. 3 balls and no strikes to Tabola. The Bastrop Bears cut the lead to 2-1 now, and they have a runner 90 feet away, trying to even things up or take the lead here in the bottom of the second. The 3-0 pitch from Leininger misses low for ball 4. And a 2-out walk loads the bases for the Bastrop Bears. Second walk of the ball game issued by Leininger has the bases loaded. Owen Boone lined out to the second baseman, Talon Ball in the first inning. Steps in here with the bases loaded and 1 out, or 2 outs. Rivas down at third base. Easton Allen down at second. And Austin Tabola down at first base. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. The Bastrop Bears, with a 2-out rally of their own, has cut the lead back to 1, 2-1. Leininger moves to the windup. The bases loaded and 2 outs. The first pitch. Ground ball down the first baseline. Foul. 0-1 the count to the pitcher, Owen Boone. No balls and 1 strike, 2 outs. Bases loaded for the Bears here in the bottom of the second. They've cut the lead down to 1, 2-1 for Georgetown. Georgetown with 2 runs in the top of the first. The Bears with 1 so far here in the bottom of the first, or bottom of the second. The 0-1 pitch misses high, ball 1. The 1-1 pitch to Boone. He'll send it into right field. It's over the head of Falta second. It's going to get over his head. That'll score 1 run. Here comes the second and Easton Allen. And here comes Tabola all the way around from first base. A 3 RBI double with 2 outs here by the Bears gives them a 4-2 lead. A nice shot there by Owen Boone.
You know, Wally, we've been watching some of these hits, and they've been shallow here and there, just dink, 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 and then boom. You know, he hits it over the outfielder's head, and it's like, well, do you play shallow on Bastrop, or do you – so now you're seeing the outfielders there taking a few more steps back because they were kind of playing in because we'd been seeing some almost small ball, you know.
Absolutely, and now a 2-out, 3-run RBI double by Owen Boone, and the Bastrop Bears have taken a 4-2 lead. In steps Elijah Vaquera. He's 1 for 1 on the day, and now he'll take a timeout and get reset because he didn't like the wait for Leininger. What a shot there by Owen Boone. The pitcher for the Bears helps himself out with a 3-run RBI double with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Leininger comes set. The first pitch to Vaquera. He fouls it off for a call for strike 1. 0-1 the count. Fourth hit of the ball game for the Bears. A runner down at second base with 2 outs. 4 runs across here in the bottom of the second. Elijah Vaquera back in the left side, ready to go. The 0-1 pitch from Leininger. Outside corner, called strike 2. What a shot there by Owen Boone to score all 3 runs, clear the bases with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. The Bears have responded to the 2 runs from Georgetown in the top of the second with 4 of their own. The 0-2 pitch skips in low for ball 1. 1-2 the count. Leininger gets the sign from Pernica. Comes set in the stretch. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 1-2 pitch. And a ball slapped down the right field line, but it's going to be pulled foul. And Elijah Vaquera stays alive in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Georgetown loves their 2-out rallies, and Bastrop having one of their own here.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
4 runs on the board, all with 2 outs here in the bottom of the inning for the Bears. Leininger comes set, a pickoff attempt. Boone dives back in safely at second base. Elijah Vaquera steps back in for the left side. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Leininger comes set. He'll turn towards second base, but no throw. Eagle dugout quieted down here in the bottom of the second after Bastrop has responded with 4 runs. Here in the bottom of the second, Leininger comes set. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Our foul tip. Pernica couldn't hold on to it. It's fouled off of his glove. So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to the left-handed hitting Vaquera. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Elijah Vaquera, the right fielder for the Bastrop Bears. 4 runs across here in the inning. Leininger comes set in the stretch and look back at second base. The 1-2 pitch. The breaker in there, called strike 3.
Yeah.
And Vaquera down looking for out number 3, but not before the Bastrop Bears put up 4 runs on 3 hits. No errors and 1 runner left on base. After 2 complete innings, 4-2, Bastrop leads it over Georgetown. The second inning of Georgetown Eagle Baseball brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply. Visit us 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit the website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. More Eagle Baseball after this on SHN. As we move to the top of the 3rd inning, back here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. Visit borrowfrommorrow.com for more information for your mortgage needs. Remember, Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you Georgetown Eagle Baseball here in inning number 3. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. The top of the lineup due up for the Eagles here in the top of the 3rd inning. They find themselves down by 2, 4-2. 2 runs in the top of the 2nd for Georgetown. 4 runs in the bottom of the 2nd for the Bastrop Bears. It'll be the 1, 2, and 3 hitters. Peterson, Peters, and Ball due up for the Eagles. Devin Peterson steps in against Boone. The first pitch across the outside corner, called strike 1. Devin Peterson 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out to the center fielder in the top of the 1st. Steps in here with the bases empty. The 0-1 pitch to Peterson. Down in the turf, skips in about 1.5 feet short for ball 1. 1-1 to count to Peterson as he leads off the top of the 3rd here for the Georgetown Eagles. 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs in the top of the 3rd. Georgetown will try to respond to the 2-out rally by the Bears in the bottom of the 2nd. They put up 4 runs to take a 4-2 lead. The 1-1 pitch from Boone. Peterson takes it up for ball 2. 2-1 the count. Boone works from the windup. The 2-0 pitch stays high. Ball 3. 3-1 the count. 3-1 the count to Devin Peterson as he leads off things here in the top of the 3rd for your Georgetown Eagles. Boone gets the sign from Regalado from the windup. The 3-1 pitch to Peterson. Peterson fouls it off down the 3rd baseline. Left fielder Ben Vaquera gives a long chase all the way to the fence, but it is out of play. And now a full count to the leadoff batter, Devin Peterson. Peterson steps back in from the right side. The payoff pitch from Boone. Peterson hits it down the left field line, and that's going to be down for extra bases. One hop off the wall. Peterson around first base, headed to second. Vaquera up with it, throws it all the way in, but the throw gets away, and Peterson takes off for third, and he'll slide in safely. What a hustle as the throw went over the head of the shortstop, the cutoff man from Ben Vaquera, all the way into second base, and Peterson never slowed down and took his chances, and he beats the throw to third. And so a leadoff double there.
Nothing wrong with a little no-out triple. And, you know, he's the guy to round the bases pretty quick because he's pretty tall, long legs, he can run.
And now a timeout here by Coach Carrillo. He'll go out to visit with Boone, and we'll take a quick break. You're listening to Georgetown Eagle Baseball live here on SHN. Back to action here as the visit is over for the Bastrop Bears. Brady Peters steps in, and the first pitch to Peters misses outside for ball one. There it updated for us. And they did give Devin Peterson a leadoff triple. The 1-0 pitch to Peters, up and away, ball two, 2-0 the count. Brady Peters 0 for 1 of the ball game, flew out to the right fielder and back in the first inning. Steps in here, 0 for 1 in the ball game, but has an opportunity to score the third run of the game as Devin Peterson led off the top of the third with a triple. The 2-0 pitch to Peters, he takes it on the outside corner for a called strike. 2 balls, 1 strike now the count to the senior third baseman, Brady Peters. The 2-1 pitch to Peters. He takes it low and in the turf for ball 3. Three and 1 now the count to Brady Peters with Talon Ball on deck for your Eagles. And a second man reaches base in a row for the Eagles here in the top of the third. A walk issued by Boone, his third of the ball game, and now runners on the corners with no out. So Peters, you can imagine he'll be off and running here pretty quick in the count as Talon Ball will step in. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game, struck out swinging back in the first inning. An opportunity here as the Eagles have runners on the corners with no outs in the top of the third, trying to answer the 4 runs in the bottom of the second by the Bastrop Bears. All 4 runs coming on 2 outs. So Brady Peters down at first base. Devin Peterson down at third, the leadoff triple. Talon Ball steps in from the right side. Boone works from the stretch. A look over at first base. First pitch to Ball, low and inside. And Regalado keeps it up front. Couldn't find it for a minute, but it stays in front of him. 1-0 the count to Talon Ball. One and 0 the count to Talon Ball. No outs and runners on the corners here in the top of the third. The 1-0 pitch, and Ball slaps it down the third baseline and almost slapped the helmet off the head of Devin Peterson. Pulls it just foul. 1-1 the count to Talon Ball here in the top of the third inning. Devin Peterson leads off third. Brady Peters leads off first base. Rivas holds Peters on at first base. Boone comes set in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch, and Ball sends it into deep left center field. The center fielder, McClanahan, on the run. He can't get to it. It's down. That'll score Peterson. Peters around second. He's out to third. He's being waved home. Here comes Brady Peters. Talon Ball. He's going to get all the way to third. What a shot. Mighty Mouse strikes again for your Georgetown Eagles. Talent Ball sent it all the way to the deep part of the left center field alley. He got over McClanahan and went off the one hop off the wall. Scores 2 runs. And the throw got away from the cutoff man. And Talent Ball moves up to third base with no outs.
No outs.
Oh, what a beautiful start to this inning for your Eagles. And that's another visit here coming from the pitching staff, so that may be all we see of Owen Boone. A call to the bullpen on your way. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. And we come back here after the pitching change. We'll get all the defensive changes made for you here in just a second. But the pitcher will be, let me double check, make sure I get the name right. John Dawson, the third baseman, will come in. He'll throw from the right side as he'll step in and relieve. So from third base to the mound will go Dawson. Tabola will go from second to third base. The first pitch to Leininger, and Leininger fouls it back for a strike. 0-1 the count. Leininger 0 for 0 in the ball game. Reached on a leadoff walk back in the second inning and scored a run. Talent Ball credited with a 2 RBI triple. He stands down at third base and no outs. The Eagles have tied it up at 4-4 with the Bears. The 0-1 pitch to Leininger, and he pops it up on the left side. The third baseman, Tabola, gives chase in foul territory, and he'll make the catch. But Talent Ball unable to advance there. Nice play by the third baseman, Austin Tabola, as he just moved over to third base and makes a nice play there. So P5 in the book to record the out of Leininger, and that'll bring up number 2, Eli Hellman, with 1 out, a runner down at first base. Hellman laid down a beautiful sac bunt in the second inning. 0 for 0 in the ball game is Hellman. He steps in from the right side. Dawson, the right-handed pitcher. The first pitch to Hellman stays up and away for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. 1 out, a runner at third base. 4-4 your score. The Georgetown Eagles have answered with 2 here in the top of the third. 1 out, a runner at third. The 1-0 pitch to Hellman. Low and outside. It gets away from the catcher. And Talent Ball coming home, and he'll score the 3rd run of the inning. A pass ball there by Regalado. allows Talon Ball to score the run. That run will be credited to Owen Boone, so that'll close the book on Boone. 5 runs allowed by Boone. He gave up 3 hits, 5 runs, struck out 2, walked 3. The 2-0 pitch to Hellman, and Hellman grounds it out towards third. Tabola up with it, throws across the diamond in time for out number 2. 5-3 on the putout to retire Eli Hellman. And with 2 outs in the inning, that'll bring up the left fielder, Andrew Nations. He walked back at his first plate appearance in the second inning, scored a run. Steps in here with 2 outs and the base is empty. But the Eagles have responded after some adversity in the bottom of the second. They had 2 runs in the top of the second. The Bears have 4 runs scored in the bottom of the second on 2 outs. And the Eagles have answered with 3 of their own here in the top of the third to take a 5-4 lead over the Bastrop Bears. Nation steps in from the left side. The right-hander throwing Dawson from the stretch. The first pitch is in there for a called strike. No balls and 1 strike to Andrew Nations. Jackson Rainey, the DH, on deck for the Eagles. Should Nations extend the inning here for Georgetown. Dawson comes set in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch to Nations. Nation fouls it off. Back out of play down the third baseline. 0-2 the count. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, brought you that call to the bullpen for the Bastrop Bears. As John Dawson went from third base to the mound. The rest of the defensive changes we'll make in the middle of the inning. But Dawson on to work here came in with no outs in the top of the third. The 0-2 pitch to Nations, and a swing and a miss, strike 3. And Dawson comes in and shuts down the Eagles in order once he entered the ball game, but not before Georgetown picked up 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base after 2.5 innings. Georgetown 5, Bastrop 4. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. Back here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. BorrowFromMorrow.com. We're here in the bottom of the third inning, and the Bastrop Bears will bring up the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. John Dawson, Peter Bacon, and Valentin Regalado to face off against Riley Leiniger here in his third inning of work. 5-4, Georgetown leads it after 2.5. The first pitch to Dawson, and he sends a fly ball down the left field line. Brady Peters is going to give chase, but that one's going to curl out of play for strike 1. Dawson over 1 in the ball game, struck out swinging back in the first inning. Leads things off here in the bottom of the third for the Bears. 9 pitches in the first inning for Leiniger, 29 in the second. As he works from the windup, first base side of the rubber. The 0-1 pitch to Dawson. And that one dots him on the shoulder. The first hit by pitch of the ball game. As Dawson heads down to second base, or first base. First batter hit by a pitch. So it has the leadoff man aboard for the Bears here in the third inning. That'll bring up Peter Bacon. He flew out in foul territory to the first baseman, David Fluitt, back in the second inning. Now steps in here with no outs and a runner on first. Bacon steps in from the right side, 0 for 1 in the game. Leiniger moves to the stretch, comes set in the stretch after a look at first base. The first pitch to Bacon, and he'll send it into right field. Faltisek's going to give chase. He'll settle under it and make the catch for out number 1. Throws it back in. But Dawson able to get back to first base in time. F9 in the book to retire Bacon for out number 1. And that'll bring up Regalado. He's 0 for 0 in the ball game. Reached on a base on balls back in the second inning. And came around to score a run, the first run of the inning for the Bears, first of 4. He was brought in by Easton Allen's Texas leaguer down the third baseline. Dawson leads off first. Fluid holds him on there. Leininger comes set. The first pitch to Regalado. Misses low for ball 1. Through 2 innings, Riley Leininger has allowed 4 hits, 4 runs, struck out 2, and walked 2. Through 2 1/3 has also hit 1 batter. And that batter down at first base as Dawson leads off with 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. The 1-0 pitch to Regalado. Breaking pitch in there for a called strike. Beautiful pitch there by Leininger. 1-1 the count to Regalado, the catcher for the Bears. So we're here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, making up for the rainout last night in Bastrop. Their field unplayable. So game number 1 of this best of 2 series is here in Georgetown. Bastrop, the home team here in this game. Friday night, the Bears will be the visitors. So throw over to first base. Dawson dives back in safely there at first base. 1 ball, 1 strike to Regalado here with 1 out and a runner at first base. Leininger will come set in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking pitch. Gets away. It's a wild pitch. It gets back behind all the way to the fence. Dawson rounds second base, but he'll stay there. So 2-1 the count to Regalado. And that wild pitch allows Dawson to move up into scoring position with just 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Georgetown put up 2 runs in the top of the 2nd, 3 in the top of the 3rd. Bastrop answered in the bottom of the 2nd with 4 of their own and trying to make some noise here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 1 out and a runner at second base. 2 balls, 1 strike, the count to Regalado.
Wanted.
A swing and a miss, and that's going to be a strikeout. Dawson will advance as he gets away from the catcher, Pernica. And Pernica comes out and throws down to Fluid at first base to the open bag to retire Regalado for out number 2. 3rd strikeout of the ball game. It was a 1-2 count, 1 ball and 2 strike count to Regalado. And that swing and a miss. It's down in the turf. So the strikeout for out number 2. 2-3 on the put out. And Dawson advances to third base on that. And so now in steps Isaiah Rivas. He singled and scored a run in the 2nd inning. First pitch, outside corner, called strike 1. Rivas scored on a 3 RBI double with 2 outs by Owen Boone. The 0-1 pitch, down and out. 4-1, skips in there. Nice play by Pernica. Does not allow Dawson to advance home. The Bears trying to tie things up as they have the tying run. 90 feet away at third base with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. Leininger from the windup, the 1-1 pitch. The breaking pitch, nasty, and Rivas. Swing and a miss for strike 2. What a nasty breaking pitch there.
Still got it.
Rivas just totally caught off guard. 1 ball and 2 strikes now with 2 outs. Leininger, the 1-2 pitch. Another swing and a miss. Rivas out on strike 3. And the Eagles get out of trouble here in the bottom of the 3rd. No runs on no hits, no errors. A 1 runner left on base. After 3 complete innings, 5-4, Georgetown leads it over Bastrop. The 3rd inning of Eagle Baseball brought to you by Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. Back with this after a quick break on SHN. we go to the top of the fourth inning back here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow. For all your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, borrow from Morrow. The Eagles will bring up the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Rainey, Pernica, and Faltasek here in the top of the fourth, leading by 1, 5-4. Over the Bastrop Bears, Dawson on to work his second inning in relief for the Bastrop Bears. And in steps Jackson Rainey, 0 for 1 in the ballgame with a strikeout in the second inning. Steps in for the left side. The first pitch from Dawson, and a swing and a miss, strike one. Dawson came in with no outs and a runner on third base in the top of the top of the third inning. And recorded 3 quick outs of the Eagles. The 0-1 pitch just misses for ball 1. 1-1 the count to Jackson Rainey, the junior designated hitter. Dawson works from the stretch. 1-1 the count to Jackson Rainey as he leads off the top of the fourth. The 1-1 pitch. Low and inside, ball 2. 2-1 the count. Now defensively for the Bears, Elijah Vaquero moves from right field to left. Ben Vaquero comes out of the ball game. Boone leaves the mound and goes to right field to continue in the ball game. And off the bench comes Boston Myers to play second base. Tabola goes to third. The 2-1 pitch misses low, ball 3. And now Jackson Rainey ahead in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike. A hitter's count here as he leads off the top of the fourth for your Georgetown Eagles, leading it 5-4. Dawson came in from third base to pitch. Tabola went from second to third, and Myers came in at second base for the Bastrop Bears. The 3-1 pitch fouled off back to the screen, and the count goes full to Jackson Rainey. Georgetown back-to-back years district champions as they win District 23. They sit at 11-1 with 2 games remaining. An opportunity to go 13-1. Their only loss last week on Tuesday night here at home to the Eastview Patriots, 3-2. The payoff pitch to Rainey, and he'll foul it off back down the third baseline, out of play. The Eagles will head to the playoffs right now as it sits. If they end in a tie in their 4th seed, it should be the Navarro Vikings to be the first opponent for Georgetown in the playoffs. Navarro currently tied with the Travis Rebels at 6-6 in district play. The payoff pitch low and inside, ball 4. So a leadoff walk for the Eagles here in the top of the fourth. First walk issued by Dawson on in relief. We'll bring up Pernica. But so Georgetown next week, I would assume it's going to be towards the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for any playoff seeding games on Monday, Tuesday. But the Eagles will be in the playoffs next week here, and we'll bring it to you on SHN.
With us bringing an extra broadcast, how can somebody, if they're interested, sponsor some of these broadcasts?
I tell you what, if anybody wants to join in, we can use all the sponsors we can get to help cut the costs for the program and for ourselves, just to bring you baseball. Georgetown baseball will bring you. I'll get the right email address. Kelly Duvall handles all our sponsorships business for our broadcast, and we'll get that for you in between an inning as Pernica fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. 0-1 the count to Chance Pernica. He's 1 for 1 of the ball game as he had a 2 RBI single with 2 outs in the second inning to put up the first 2 runs of the ball game for Georgetown. Steps in here 1 for 1 in the game. The 0-1 pitch from Dawson, and it's high for ball 1. 1-1 the count to Chance Pernica. But an opportunity to help out would be appreciated by anyone, and we'll get you. It's Kelly Duvall is our main contact there on the sponsorship, and we can have inning sponsors. We can do the coach's interview sponsor. We can come up with other ways, but just to reach out and help us bring you Georgetown baseball. Andrew Nations leads off. Jackson Rainey leads off. Takes off on the pitch, but Pernica fouls it off the mask of the home plate umpires. He takes that off and gathers himself. Pernica will head down and head to.
That's where coach is like, hey, I had him running. Why'd you swing?
No. 1-2. Now the count to Pernica. The leadoff man reaches on a leadoff walk to Jackson Rainey, the DH. And now Pernica behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes with no outs. As Coach Pierre and Pernica visit on the third baseline to give the home plate umpire time to reset after that ball fouled off the front of his mask.
Kind of excited for Pernica. I'm hearing that he might be headed off to the Fire Academy after after his stint at Georgetown High School, so I wish him all the luck.
That he is. What a great interview talking to him at the Coaches Show last Thursday. Headed to Blinn Fire School in the fall to become a firefighter. The 1-2 pitch. Pernica takes it low and outside. Ball 2. 2-2 now the count to the senior catcher. And I tell you what, first responders are in that family. His dad, a 30-year veteran with the Texas Department of Public Safety, a trooper. And so just the Pernica family as a whole, just so involved here in the baseball program, but in first responder work as well.
Just having a heart for service to others, and that's really what this career boils down to.
The 2-2 pitch will come after a throw over to first base. Rainey dives back in safely. The ball trickles away from Rivas, but not able to let Rainey advance to second base. 2-2 remains the count to Pernica. No outs here in the top of the fourth. Georgetown, 2 runs in the top of the second, 3 in the top of the third. Bastrop with 4 in the bottom of the second. That's where we stand at 5-4. Georgetown leads it by 1. Rainey leads off first. Rivas holds him on there. Dawson will come set in the stretch. Runner is off. The ball, wild pitch down to the dirt. Rainey gets around second base on the stolen base. Unable to advance. Gets the stolen base, second of the ball game for the Georgetown Eagles, and a full count now to Chance Pernica with no outs here in the top of the fourth inning. And now they're not going to give Rainey a stolen base. They're going to call it. They called it a pass ball. It's going to be a wild pitch by Dawson as it hit about a 1.5 feet short. I'm going to leave it as a stolen base for Rainey.
Well, Doppler Dave's going to nerd out a little bit. If you folks are listening to the broadcast, you're probably from Georgetown or Bastrop, pay attention to these storms tonight. It's going to be coming through, probably around 10 o'clock, and a lot of these supercells have a history of massive hail and tornadoes, so just pay attention tonight to the weather.
Keep your phones charged while you can before any storms in case electricity goes out, but be able to track from weather meteorologist reports, weather apps. The payout pitch, a walk to Chance Pernica. Now base runners on first and second for the Eagles. The second walk by Dawson, both here in the top of the fourth inning.
I like the bottom of the lineup doing work.
Absolutely, as here comes Cord Lawrence on to courtesy run for the catcher, Chance Pernica. Pernica 1 for 1 on the night, has reached base in both of his plate appearances. And in steps Jacob Faltasek, the right fielder. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Steps in here with no outs and runners on first and second. Georgetown trying to make some noise here in the top of the fourth. They lead it by 1, 5-4. Rivas in on the grass at first base. Faltasek turns to bunt. The throw down back behind the runner at second base, Rainey. And a good job by the shortstop Bacon to keep it in front of him.
Yeah, he put his whole body in front of it and kept it going out into center field. Heads up play there. He's paying the price for it now.
He comes up walking gingerly there from shortstop. Rainey and Bacon looked like they were playing leapfrog back there as Rainey tried to get back to the bag. But that ball hit in the turf, and Bacon took it off his chest, but comes up gingerly on his left ankle there. Hopefully he's all right. Looks like he'll stay in the game.
Rub some turf on it.
Get the pellets out of the turf.
Not rub some dirt on it out there. Rub some turf on it.
And so, 1-0 the count to Faltasek with no outs and runners on first and second here in the top of the fourth. Dawson on in his second inning relief has walked the first 2 batters here in the inning. And behind in the count, 1 ball and no strikes to Faltasek. Dawson comes set. The 1-0 pitch. Faltasek squares the bunt, pulls it back and takes it for a ball. Rainey gets thrown down behind, and now he's in a pickle between second and third. Tabolo will throw back to second base in time. And they're going to call out Rainey on the pickle. A great job there by Cord Lawrence. He took off and slid into second base and got in there safely, so at least he gains the base as we lose the base runner, Rainey. And so the pick off there by the the catcher Regalado. What a throwdown! Rainey got caught not kind of getting back to the bag, and Regalado set it down behind him.
Wally, you don't lose a lot there. You've got no outs, and he's ahead in the count now, 2-0, and first base is open. 2 more balls, and you're still in great shape. And the top of the lineup comes up. So I like what Coach did there. Just go ahead.
But one thing you think Coach will work on here and talk about, and possibly talk about after the game, is cutting base running mistakes as you get into the playoffs and not losing any outs on the bag on free plays like that.
Right.
The 2-0 pitch gets away. Cord Lawrence is going to head to third base, and he'll be in there. It's a pass ball by Regalado.
And the catcher had it, but he went for it with his right throwing arm, and he kind of jiggled it a little bit, and he didn't quite. He was looking towards third base, and he didn't focus on picking up that ball and making the throw down to third.
So Cord Lawrence moves up to third base. 3-0 the count to Faltasek with Devin Peterson on deck with only one out here in the top of the fourth. Dawson comes set, the 3-0 pitch. Low and outside, ball four. The third walk in a row by Dawson.
Look, he's going.
And now Faltasek's going to get in the pickle between first and second. And now Cord Lawrence will look towards going home as they try to get Faltasek, and it'll run down. And Faltasek is going to get back to first base. And now Dawson will call timeout. And a good job by the Bear defense there to keep Cord at third base. And
he's keeping it frosty out there,
And a great job there by Faltasek. The coaches have that play going to try to draw the defense into that and give the run up. But nothing happens there. But here comes a visit from Coach Carrillo. And he'll go out and talk to Dawson in the Bear infield. One out, runners on the corners here in the top of the fifth. The Eagles trying to make some noise here in the top of the fourth inning as Devin Peterson is due up. Quick timeout. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. The mound visit over for the Bastrop Bears as Coach Carrillo returns to the dugout. One out here in the top of the fourth. Georgetown has runners on first and second. 3 walks in a row issued by the relief pitcher, Jack Dawson. Devin Peterson steps in. Faltasek off and running.
Wow.
Throw down. They expected the attempt there as Regalado throws to the shortstop.
It's very unusual to see the catcher try and throw out when you got runners on the corners, right?
And so now Devin Peterson takes it for a ball and now has runners on first and second, or second and third with one out here in the top of the fourth. Now the infield will come in for the Bastrop Bears. They'll all be on the grass. And now Devin Peterson will step out as Coach Vieira.
Oh, cat and mouse here. This is great, Wally. This is fun.
Coach Vieira adjusts the signals after he sees the defense come into the grass for the Bastrop Bears. Peterson steps back in for the right side. Dawson comes set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch to Peterson. Outside corner called strike one. 1-1 the count. Jack Dawson came on in relief. John Dawson, now after you said that, I got Jack Dawson in my head. John Dawson on in relief. In the first inning, he came in the top of the third with runners on, a runner on third and no outs. Only threw 7 pitches to get out of the inning. This inning, a lot more pitches thrown by Dawson. A 1-1 pitch to Peterson. And Peterson sends it into center field. McClanahan backs up. He'll make the catch, but that's going to be deep enough to score Cord Lawrence from third base. So the sacrifice fly by Devin Peterson is good to get the run in. The RBI to Peterson to score Lawrence from third base, and the Eagles take a 2-run lead now, 6-4. Faltasek stays put at second base. That'll bring up Brady Peters. 0 for 1 in the ball game. With a base on balls and a run scored. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. The Eagles have 1 across and a runner on second base. Peters flew out to right field in the 1st, walked and scored a run in the 3rd. Steps in here with the 4th inning. Faltasek leading off 2nd and 2 outs. Dawson comes set. The first pitch to Peters stays just high for ball 1. So the Eagles have put up at least 1 run in the last 3 innings. After a quiet first inning, they went down in order 1, 2, 3. Now they've had 2 runs in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, 1 here in the 4th. As Peters steps back in, 1 ball and no strikes with 2 outs and a runner at second base. The 1-0 pitch. And Peters pops it up down the right side. The first baseman, Rivas, gives chase but yields to the pitcher, Dawson. And he'll make the catch in foul territory for out number 3. P1 in the book for out number 3 to retire the Eagles here in the top of the 4th. But not before they pick up 1 run on no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 3.5 innings, I'll get it together. I'm so out of my element today. It's just been so crazy getting it all thrown together. The Bears being the home team is what's confused me.
Right.
So after 3.5 innings, Georgetown leads it 6-4 over Bastrop. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. Back here for the bottom of the 4th. And due up are the 8-9-1 hitters for the Bears. McClanahan, Allen, and Tabola. Leininger on for his 4th inning of work. The first pitch in there for a called strike to McClanahan. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out to the catcher, Pernica, in foul territory back in the 2nd. The 0-1 pitch, a swing and a miss. 0-2 the count to Mason McClanahan. Leininger ready to go from the windup. The 0-2 pitch. Sails just high, ball 1. 1-2 the count to the center fielder, Mason McClanahan. Leininger from the first base side of the rubber. The 1-2 pitch. And the breaking pitch hit out towards short. Eli Hellman on a hop will field it. Make the throw across the diamond in time. For out number 1. 6-3 on the putout. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, the designated hitter, Easton Allen. He had an RBI single back in the 2nd inning on the Texas Leaguer right down the 3rd baseline as it dropped about 6 inches fair to score. The catcher, Regalado, steps in here with 1 out and the base is empty. The first pitch fouled off back to the screen for 0-1 count. Easton Allen, the junior right-handed hitting designated hitter for the Bears. And Leininger has allowed 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 wild pitch in 3 innings, 3 1/3 innings. The 0-1 pitch to Allen in there for a called strike. 0-2 now the count. Allen back in, Leininger ready to go. The 0-2 pitch. Outside corner just misses for a called ball. 1-2 the count. The leadoff man, Austin Tabola, on deck for the Bears here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Leininger's 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Austin Allen down on strikes for out number 2, Easton Allen. And that'll bring up Austin Tabola. 4 strikeouts in the ball game by Leininger.
This is exactly what you want to be doing. You've got a couple of runs in there. last inning and shut them down here and go get some more runs.
And attacking the hitters as Leininger is going right after him here in the bottom of the fourth. The first pitch to DeBola popped up right side of the infield. Flew it. He's going to get pursued in foul territory. He'll settle under it.
Nice
and
pitch.
a quick inning for the Eagles here in the bottom of the fourth as they retire the Bears in order here in the bottom of the fourth. No runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on after 4 complete innings. Georgetown 6, Bastrop 4. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Georgetown will bring up the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Talon Ball, Riley Leininger, and Eli Hellman facing off against Dawson here in the top of the 5th, on for his 3rd inning of work in relief for the Bastrop Bears. Talon Ball 1 for 2 in the ball game, a 2 RBI triple. A swing and a miss on this one for strike 1.
He wants to go yard right off the bat.
Mighty Mouse sure does. I tell you what, Talon Ball is an aggressive hitter, doing great, leading the team in batting average in district play. Tonight, 1 for 2 on the night, a 2 RBI triple back in the 3rd inning. The 0-1 pitch, and Ball chases the high heater for a called swing and a miss, strike 2. Coach Vieira talking to him from the 3rd base coach's box. No balls, 2 strikes to Talon Ball, leading off things here in the top of the 5th for your Eagles, leading it 6-4. Dawson comes set in the stretch. The 0-2 pitch. And Ball chases this off-speed pitch for a called strike 3. So Talon Ball down for out number 1. Second strikeout by John Dawson. And in steps Riley Leininger. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Walked and scored a run in the 2nd inning. Popped out to the 3rd baseman on a beautiful play by Tabola in foul territory. Steps in here with 1 out and the base is empty in the top of the 5th. Leininger steps in from the left side. Dawson comes set in the stretch. The first pitch to Leininger. Up and away for ball 1.
Sun came out. Still
Say,
a beautiful day here in Georgetown.
Absolutely. Started to say the birds. I can hear the birds chirping again. They took a break and got to come out. The 1-0 pitch to Leininger, and Leininger pops it up and back out of play down the 3rd baseline. 1-1 the count. Is this the quiet before the storm?
Yeah, I believe so. Georgetown's right on that edge of, the bullseye I think today was primarily Waco, and that's really showing to be true, but we're still in there, especially Gerald and Florence.
The 1-1 pitch to Leininger. Stays up and away for ball 2. 2-1 now the count to Riley. Eli Hellman on deck for your Eagles. If you want to sponsor SHN Sports and Eagle Baseball during the playoff run, reach out to Kelly Duvall, Kelly D, SHN at gmail.com, KELLYD shn@gmail.com. And Leininger sends the 2-1 pitch into center field. McClanahan will come in and to his right and make the catch for out number 2, F8 in the book, to retire Leininger. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Eli Hellman, with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Hellman 0 for 1 in the ball game. A sac bunt in the 2nd inning. And then it was a ground out in the 3rd, 5-3. Grounded out to the 3rd baseman, Tabola. Steps in here with the bases empty and 2 outs.
Well, if you're anywhere near Mart, you're getting tuned up with weather right now. They've got some big hail out there. Sorry, I keep talking about weather in the middle of the broadcast.
Hellman steps in. Dawson comes set. The first pitch to Eli. Stays high, ball 1. I just when Coach sent out the message today, the game was at Georgetown at 5 p.m. I thought, man, we'll be lucky to get it in at all. And then, okay, now it's looking really pretty out here. But an opportunity to squeeze in a baseball game here on a Tuesday night.
Right.
Wednesday night. The 1-0 pitch up and in. Ball 2. 2-0 the count to Eli Hellman with Andrew Nations on deck. But man, a lot of people in the middle of storms right now. Hopefully everyone is okay.
I mean, almost every one of these supercells has got hail in it. They weren't kidding.
The 2-0 pitch, and Hellman pops it up right side of the infield. Rivas, the first baseman, loses it in the sun. Now gets it back and makes the catch.
Assisted by a big floppy glove on the first base.
That he did. P3 in the book to retire the out for Hellman, and the Eagles go in order here in the top of the 5th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on after 4.5 innings. Georgetown 6, Bastrop 4. More Eagle baseball continues on SHN in a moment. As we go to the bottom of the 5th, back here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. The Bastrop Bears will bring up the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Owen Boone steps in. He had a 3 RBI double back in the 2nd inning. Leads things off here. First pitch fouled off down the first baseline, out of play. 4 strike 1. 0-1 the count to Owen Boone, with Elijah Vaquera and John Dodson due up here in the bottom of the 5th for the Bastrop Bears. Leininger on for his 5th inning of work. The 0-1 pitch, ground ball down the first baseline. Fluid will field it. He'll take it 3 unassisted for out number 1. To retire Boone, and that'll bring up Elijah Vaquero. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Singled and left stranded at second base in the 1st inning. Struck out looking in the 2nd. Steps in here with 1 out. And the base is empty in the bottom of the 5th. Game 1 of the best-of-2 series between these two teams is here on Wednesday night at Georgetown High School. Bastrop, the home team, as they're field unplayable after all the storms the last few weeks. And the first pitch to Vaquera is up and away, ball 1. So Bastrop, the home team tonight. Tomorrow night we'll be at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street, for the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. The 1-0 pitch fouled off back behind home plate. 1-1 the count to Elijah Vaquera. 6:45 p.m. on the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Myself, Coach Vieira, and any more guests that we want to have. Maybe Kelly Duvall makes a surprise appearance, or Doppler Dave. Anybody. Join us there on the patio live for the Coaches Show. A beautiful night. Oh, what a pitch by Riley Leininger. The 1-1 pitch. Backdoor breaking ball catches the outside corner for called strike 2. 1-2 the count to Elijah Vaquera. He is the left fielder for the Bastrop Bears. Back in from the left side. Leininger ready to go. The 1-2 pitch. And a foul tip into the mid of Pernica for catch, caught for strike 3. 5th strikeout of the ball game by Riley Leininger for out number 2. And that'll bring up the pitcher, John Dawson. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out in the first and was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. Left stranded on 3rd base there. Steps in here with 2 outs and the base is empty. So tonight's game, Bastrop the home team. Tomorrow night, the coaches show. Friday night, 7 p.m. first pitch. Your Eagles, the home team, as Dawson pulls that one foul over the 3rd base dugout. 0-1 the count. And then Saturday, the 1 p.m. tilt with the Cedar Ridge Raiders here at Eagle Field. A lot of baseball this week in a short amount of time. The 0-1 pitch from Leininger just misses low for ball 1. 1-1 the count to John Dawson with Peter Bacon on deck. Should Dawson reach base? The 1-1 pitch and a swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 the count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Base is empty. John Dawson steps back in. 1-2 the count. The 1-2 pitch. And a ball hit out between 3rd and short. Hellman into the hole, dives for it, but it gets past him into left field for a 2-out single by John Dawson. 5th hit of the ball game. Ball throw gets away, and Dawson's going to move up to second base. As that one thrown in by Nations gets away and past Fluid at first base all the way to the fence. So Dawson moves up on the throwing error there. See what they charge that on. So Game Changer catches up in the background. So in steps Peter Bacon. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Popped out to first in the 2nd inning. Flew out to right field in the 3rd. Steps in here with 2 outs and a runner on second. The first pitch is up and in for ball 1. One ball, no strikes to Peter Bacon. Leininger look back at second. He'll throw to second. A nice throw. Almost got him as Dawson dives back in head first. Just beats the throw as Leininger set it right to the side of the bag, and Hellman was there to put the tag on immediately. But John Dawson barely back in at second base. 1 ball and no strikes to Bacon. Leininger comes set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Misses low, ball 2.
I hate to say this, but if there's a huge hole right there between 3rd and the shortstop, they need to shore that up a little bit.
Hellman's staying close to second to keep Dawson close, creating that gap between the 5-6 hole to be a little bit bigger as Bacon takes time at home, gathers himself, now back in from the right side. 2 balls and no strikes to Bacon with 2 outs and a runner at second here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Leininger comes set in the stretch. The 2-0 pitch. Up and in, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes to Bacon. On deck is Regalado, the catcher for the Bears. Leininger comes set, a look back at second base. The 3-0 pitch, and a ball hit out towards second. Talent ball on a hop, gets it, fires the first in time. And the Bears are down here in the bottom of the 5th. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a runner left on base. After 5 complete innings, Georgetown 6, Bastrop 4. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. As we move to the top of the 6th inning, back here in the SHN broadcast booth. Beautiful weather in here. It's a balmy 69 degrees, I believe, on the AC unit. But a beautiful, there come the clamshell lights on underneath here at Georgetown Field, Eagle Field at Georgetown High School. As we go to the top of the 6th, John Dawson remains on the mound. Here inside the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. Dawson on for his 4th inning of relief work for the Bears. He's only given up 1 run, struck out 2, walked 3. He's not allowed a hit in relief. The 3 base on balls back in the 4th is the only thing it cost him, as he got a sacrifice fly to get one of those in for the run. The first pitch to lead off the top of the 6th is up and away for a ball for the Eagles in the inning. The 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up. Nations, Rainey, and Pernica. Nation steps in 0 for 1 of the ball game. Walked and scored a run in the 2nd. Struck out swinging in the 3rd. The 1-0 pitch from Dawson. Nations takes it on the inside corner for a called strike. 1-1 the count. To Andrew Nations, the left-handed hitting left fielder, junior on the Eagle baseball team. Now he'll call time and reset. May have got a critter up in his eye there as he wipes his eyes, and now resets from the left side. 1 ball, no strikes, or correction, 1 ball, 1 strike. To Nations leading off things here in the top of the 6th for your Eagles. Dawson comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Up and inside for ball 2. 2-1 the count to Andrew Nations. Jackson Rainey 0 for 1 on deck. Chance Pernica 1 for 1 in the hole for the Georgetown Eagles here in the top of the 6th inning. Dawson comes set. The 2-1 pitch to Nations. Way outside, ball 3. So a hitter's count to Andrew Nations here with 3 balls and 1 strike, leading things off for the Eagles here in the 6th. 6-4 your score, Georgetown. 2 runs in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. Bastrop with all 4 of their runs in the bottom of the 2nd. The 3-1 pitch, and it's low and inside. And that's a leadoff walk for Andrew Nations, the 4th walk issued by Dawson, 7th walk by Bastrop Bear pitching tonight here in the ball game. 3 hits by Bastrop pitching allowed tonight, 6 runs, but more importantly, 7 walks. And those come back to haunt you each and every time. As now in steps Jackson Rainey, 0 for 1 in the ball game, struck out swinging in the 2nd, walked in the 4th, and was left stranded at second base. Andrew Nations, a big lead at first, being held on by Rivas. And now Dawson will step off. Dawson back on the mound. Works from the first base side of the rubber. Comes set in the stretch. Nations off and running. The first pitch is in there for a called strike. Regalado double pump there, trying to get the ball out of his glove. And Nations easily still second base. According to Game Changer, the 5th stolen base of the night for your Eagles. And now a man in scoring position with no outs here in the top of the 6th. Jackson Rainey steps back in. No balls and 1 strike. Dawson comes set. A look back at second base. The 0-1 pitch. Rainey squares the bunt, takes the pitch, and it's up and away. Regalado, it pops out of his glove, and that allows Nations to steal third base. He was off and running on the pitch. And a good jump there. Back-to-back stolen bases by Andrew Nations. A 1-1 to count to Jackson Rainey. With no outs and a runner at third base now here in the top of the 6th inning. Dawson comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Rainey takes it on the inside corner. The breaking pitch across the corner for a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And now Coach Carrillo has the Bastrop defense infield in at the grass with no outs and a runner at third base, trying to cut down any runs. Georgetown has a 2-run lead here in the top of the 6th, 6-4. The 1-2 pitch. Misses low and outside, ball 2, and it evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jackson Rainey. Rainey, the junior DH, steps back in from the left side. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Runner at third base. Dawson comes set. The 2-2 pitch. And Rainey sends a pop fly into center of the infield. The shortstop, Bacon, drifts back behind second base and makes the catch for out number 1. P6 in the book to retire Rainey. And that'll bring up the catcher, number 7, Chance Pernica. The senior 1 for 1 on the ball game. An RBI single, a 2 RBI single back in the second inning. It scored Leininger and Nations. Reached on a base on balls and a run scored in the 4th inning. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at third base in the top of the 6th inning. Dawson toes the rubber down, first base side of the rubber. He works from the stretch full time. The first pitch to Pernica. Pernica takes it in there for a called strike right in the middle. The infield remains in for the Bears with only 1 out and the runner at third base. They want to cut down any more scoring opportunities for the Eagles. So an opportunity here to get Pernica to squirt one through for an RBI. The 0-1 pitch misses for ball 1. 1-1 to count. One on 1 to count to Pernica with 1 out and a runner at third base. Here in the top of the 6th, Dawson comes set. The 1-1 pitch to Pernica. Takes it high for ball 2. 2-1 to count. Corners up on the edge of the grass for the Bears. The shortstop and second baseman, Bacon and Myers, about a step behind. Dawson comes set. The 2-1 pitch. Pernica takes it low and inside. Ball 3. Jacob Baltasek on deck for your Eagles here in the top of the 6th. The Eagles lead it by 2, 6-4. 6 runs on 3 hits with 1 error for the Eagles. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Bastrop Bears. The 3-1 pitch. Pernica smashes it foul down the third baseline. Takes a big kick off the top of the practice facility, and now a full count to the senior catcher, Chance Pernica. Three and 2 the count to Pernica with 1 out and the runner at third. Dawson comes set. The payoff pitch. Low and outside, ball 4. A 1-out walk has runners at the corners for the Eagles. The 5th walk issued by Dawson. And that'll bring up the senior right fielder, Jacob Baltasek, as Noah Cord Lawrence will come out to courtesy run for the catcher, Pernica. Cord, the junior, heads down to first base. Runners on the corners with 1 out. 6-4, Georgetown leads it over Bastrop by 2. And now a chance for Baltasek to play to run. He comes into this at bat 0 for 1 in the ball game. Popped out to second in the second inning. Reached on a walk and left stranded at second base in the 4th inning. Baltasek steps in from the right side with runners at first and second. Lawrence takes off on the pitch. The first pitch in there for a called strike. The throw down to second base, not in time. It gets away from the shortstop, Bacon, and that's going to allow Andrew Nations to score from third base. Exactly right, as the throw down there, and that's the chance you take. As Bacon was there for the throw, but it skips in. It gets away from him and off the chest of Myers into center field. And so they're going to say Nations comes in on the throwing error, E2. Put it on the catcher, Regalado, on that throw that was into the turf. No balls and 1 strike to Baltasek. Runner at second base with 1 out The 0-1 pitch, low and outside. Lawrence is going to run as it got away from Regalado, but it was right underneath his feet, and he gets it and throws down to third to get Lawrence at third base. 1-1 the count to Faltasek, but now with 2 outs and the base is empty. 2-5 on the caught stealing there by Regalado for out number 2. That one didn't squirt too far away. I'm not sure Lawrence saw it. Regalado picked it up and fired down to Tobola at third base. And now a 1-1 count to Faltasek with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Dawson comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Faltasek slaps it foul down the third baseline, off the facility, back onto the field. Now behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up in the bottom of the 6th for the Bastrop Bears. We'll see if Leininger comes out for his 6th inning of work for the Eagles. But right now, Faltasek back in there battling with 1 ball and 2 strike count with 2 outs and the base is empty here in the top of the 6th. Dawson comes set, the 1-2 pitch. Way outside, low for ball 2.
That's one of the cool things about this facilities is the Georgetown squad can be warming up a pitcher in there, and Bastrop's not aware of that, and they're not going to be able to look at it, make adjustments, but we can see what they're doing over there.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Faltasek back ready to go. The 2-2 pitch. Low and skips in there for ball 3. About a 1.5 feet short. And now a full count to Jacob Faltasek with Devin Peterson, the leadoff man, on deck for the Eagles. Lots of Eagle baseball here on SHN this week. The last week of regular season play before the playoffs begin. Faltasek back in. Dawson comes set. The payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. A 2-out walk. 3rd walk of the inning. 7th walk issued by Dawson, and that may be all we see of Dawson as Coach Carrillo comes out of the dugout for the Bears. Quick timeout. We'll come back with any updates. You're listening to Eagle Baseball on SHN. Back here live at Eagle Field at Georgetown High School. You have the Nathaniel Funk. Leander Georgetown Edward Jones Financial Advisor brings you this call to the bullpen. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk. The big man, the junior DH, Easton Austin. Well, I'm going to figure this out. Easton Allen comes in to pitch in relief for the Bastrop Bears. Number 30, Easton Allen, the junior right-hander. Tabola will go from third back to second base. Myers comes out of the ball game, and Dawson goes from the mound back to third base defensively for the Bastrop Bears. Allen will face off against Devin Peterson with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Faltasek off and running. The first pitch off the catcher's glove gets back to the screen, and Faltasek easily steals second base. And a 1-0 count to Devin Peterson here.
You know, I think if I'm Coach Vieira, which I am not, I'm a fireman, but I think confidence is high that you can take second base with some of the ball handling that the Bastrop catcher has had. You know, I think it's your odds are in your favor.
A lot of balls have gone off the glove of Regalado and given the Eagle base runners opportunities to take off. A 1-0 pitch to Peterson, but Allen's going to step off and reset on the mound. The big junior right-hander. Third Bastrop pitcher of the ball game here in this Wednesday night rain-out makeup game. But now instead of in Bastrop, we're back live at Georgetown High School. Bastrop just the home team here in game number 1. The 1-0 pitch to Peterson, and it's a called strike for 1-1 count now. Peterson 1 for 2 on the ball game. Flew out to center field in the first, tripled and scored a run in the third, and had an RBI sacrifice fly in the 4th inning. And steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at second base now, a 1-1 count to the leadoff man, center fielder Devin Peterson. Allen comes set in the stretch, the 1-1 pitch. Peterson chases the breaking pitch down on the turf. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And now a 1-2 count to Peterson. Brady Peters on deck. Should Peterson extend the inning? 7-4, Georgetown has won across here in the top of the 6th to extend their lead to 3. Thanks in part to 3 base on balls in the inning by Dawson. He had 7 on the night in relief. The 1-2 pitch down in the dirt. Nice block by Regalado there, as that one skipped in short of the plate. Now a 2-2 count to Devin Peterson. Still a beautiful night here at Georgetown High School. Birkelbach Field in the background, some clouds dusting across the sky, but no rain, a sun-splashed sky here in Georgetown High School. Allen comes set, the 2-2 pitch to Peterson. Peterson fouls it off, back to the screen, stays alive in the at-bat, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Coach Vieira constantly chirping to the batters, talking to them, encouraging them out their at-bats. As Devin Peterson does battle here in the top of the 6th. Faltasek down at second base, 2 outs, a 2-2 count to Peterson. Allen looks in and gets the sign from Regalado. Allen comes set, the 2-2 pitch. And Peterson sends it down the left field line, but it's going to be pulled foul by a few feet. The at-bat extends for Peterson, 2 balls and 2 strikes. A beautiful night it has turned out to be for baseball. Hopefully it'll stay this way and the Storms will miss Georgetown. Don't think it's going to happen, but it's just a prayer and a chance is what I'm hoping for.
She's saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. I still got to go back to work, so I hope the rain holds off at least till 9:30, 10 o'clock. Allen comes set, 2-2 the count to Peterson. Look back to second base, the 2-2 pitch. And will come after a timeout here. Allen was given multiple glances over his shoulder to Faltasek at second base. Devin Peterson wanted to break the stalemate. So now everybody resets. Allen comes set, the 2-2 pitch. And Peterson drives this down the left field line. It's going to be just foul by about a foot. Now what's funny is Peterson's got to be careful as Elijah Vaquera is playing the line now a little more closely as he's pulled it down the line multiple times in the ball game. The PA announcer having a good time here with the sound effects. 2 balls and 2 strikes remains the account for Devin Peterson with 2 outs here at the top of the 6th. Jacob Faltasek leads off second base. 2 outs for the Eagles. They've got 1 run across in the inning, a 3-run lead, 7-4. Allen comes set, the 2-2 pitch. It's up and high for ball 3, and now a full count to Devin Peterson. The next pitch will be the 9th of the at-bat, so a good job of bringing in the relief pitcher and seeing multiple pitches in the first at-bat that he faces as Devin Peterson works the full count. Don't get in trouble. I don't want you in the doghouse again like before. I'm not going to say with who. The payoff pitch. That one low and inside. What an at-bat there. You talk about a quality at-bat, and then it extends for Devin Peterson, a 2-out walk. The first issued by Allen, but more importantly, that is the 11th walk of the ball game by Bastrop pitchers. So now runners on first and second with 2 outs as Peterson draws the walk, and in steps Brady Peters, the senior third baseman. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game with a base on balls and a run scored. The first pitch to Peters is up and in, ball 1. 11 base on balls allowed by Bastrop pitching, combined with 3 base hits, 2 of them triples for the Eagles. Have 7 runs on the board for the Eagles, 4 on the board with 5 hits and an error for the Bastrop Bears. Peters back ready to go. Allen, the 1-0 pitch. And it's in there for a called strike. Throw down behind Faltasek, but that is a delayed throw, and Faltasek was ready for it, and he took off running. And Faltasek advances to third. So beautiful stolen base there by Faltasek as Regalado threw down behind him. A 1-1 count now to Brady Peters. Sorry, that conversation before was with my buddy Doppler Dave. We weren't expecting this game today, so he may need to leave and join his crew on prior obligations. And so that's what I'm telling him is to go ahead and get out of here. Don't get yourself in trouble. My wife over at Disney on Ice tonight with one of our granddaughters. So we're just throwing it together tonight to bring you Georgetown Eagle baseball here at Georgetown High School on this rain-out makeup. On a wing and a bear. Beautiful. Beautiful. The 1-1 count to Brady Peters. The 1-1 pitch. Peterson takes off. Peters fouls it back out of play. So Devin off the top of the clamshell to scare everybody and wake them up. A 1-2 count now to Brady Peters as Devin Peterson has to return to first base. So a battle here for Brady Peters with 2 outs and runners on the corners in the top of the 6th inning. Charge. PA guy bringing us the music, trying to get this crowd going. A decent crowd here tonight, even on a rain-out makeup. On a Wednesday night, a late notice, a 5 p.m. start. A good crowd here at Georgetown High School. A good group of Bear fans as well, up from Bastrop. Peterson off on the pitch, the 1-2 pitch. Peters pops it up right side of the infield. Rivas gives chase, and now the pitcher, Allen, is going to come off the mound to make the catch for out number 3. After 5.5 innings, Georgetown 7, Bastrop 3. Georgetown 1 run on no hits, no errors, and a runner left on base. Or correction, 1 error and a runner left, 2 runners left on base. After 5.5, 7-4, Georgetown leads it over Bastrop. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. As we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. The Nathaniel Funk, your Leander, Georgetown, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you this Georgetown Eagle call to the bullpen. Kyle Ropolo, the senior right-hander, on in relief for your Georgetown Eagles. Leininger leaves the mound for the Eagles after 5 complete innings, allowing 5 hits, 4 runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a wild pitch, hit 1 batter. He moves over to first base. Fluid comes out defensively for your Eagles. And so Ropolo on in relief here in the bottom of the 6th for the Eagles. Dave, those storms seem to be just continuing to grow and
Right.
surround the area. What's the latest?
Now they just issued a brand new tornado watch for Williamson, Travis, Hayes County, but it also goes northeast through Bryan, Lufkin, Nacogdoches, and into halfway into Louisiana. So it's a new watch that we're under now. It goes to 1 a.m.
Ropolo's first at bat. Baseball hit down to third base, but Brady Peters with a swing and a miss on that one. So Nation's over to get it, and that will allow Regalado to reach base. I'm going to assume they will call an error on that, and they did. So that'll be the second error of the ballgame for the Eagles. So Regalado reaches on an error. So E5 in the book there. You don't see that very often by Brady Peters, but that was comparative to the Olay scene. That was by a bullfighter. Just dropped down to a knee, reached for the backhand of the ball right past his glove into left field. So a leadoff base runner on the error. Regalado reaches base, and now Rivas steps in. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. A single and a run scored in the second, a strikeout in the third. His first pitch swinging, fouls it off to the screen, 0-1 the count. So these storms are getting bigger and stronger. Be careful, everybody out there. Please seek shelter, be careful, stay out of harm's way. Kyle Ropolo, 7 1/3 innings in relief during 12 district games. We'll get his stats here in a second. The 0-1 pitch to Rivas. Low and outside, ball 1. He's appeared in 5 games. He's faced 25 batters, got 1 save and 1 save opportunity. He's only allowed 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 8. His ERA is 0.00. His batting average against is .043. As Ropolo will come set in the stretch. And now Rivas calls timeout. Rivas back in from the right side. Ropolo comes set. The 1-1 pitch. The ball put into play down the right side, but it'll curl back out of play. And it'll be a 1-2 count to Rivas. The courtesy runner for Regalado down at first base was off on the pitch, but he'll return back to first base for the 1-2 count now to Rivas. The Bastrop Bears eliminated from the playoffs, along with the Cedar Creek Eagles and the Conley Cougars. Pflugerville, Eastview, and Hendrickson battling for a playoff spot in the last game of the week of the season on Friday. Elgin has punched their ticket into the playoffs as they have secured at least a spot in the playoffs with only 4 losses and 1 game remaining, and the other 3 teams with 5 losses and Hendrickson with 6. So Hendrickson will need some help on Friday as well. 1-2 will come after the pickoff attempt. The runner barely beats the throw back in. Nice throw over by Ropolo to Leininger. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rivas. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, 7-4, Georgetown leads it. Leininger holds the runner on at first base. Ropolo comes set in the stretch. Another throw over to first base. And I'll tell you what, Ropolo puts that right on the bag. Now a timeout by Coach Carrillo. He's going to talk to the field umpire. He must be asking about Ropolo's throw over, if he's coming set, if it's a balk or what. But Ropolo, you're not going towards home at all, so he doesn't have to come completely set to make the throw to first. So we'll see what gets called here, what the question is. But an opportunity for Ropolo to regather himself. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rivas. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th. The Bears have the leadoff man aboard. He reaches on an error by the third baseman, Peters. And so the leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 6th for the Bears as they chase 3. 7-4, Georgetown leads it. Runner at first base leads off. Leininger holds him on. Ropolo comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch fouled off back to the screen. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to Isaiah Rivas with Mason McClanahan on deck for the Bastrop Bears. Coach Carrillo goes through the signs down at third base. Rivas gets them and back in the box from the right side. Ropolo looks in and gets the sign from Pernica. Comes set in the stretch. Throw over to first base. A nice throw over there. The runner dives back in safely. At first base, keeping the runners close to the bag. Only one stolen base allowed here in the ball game for the Bastrop Bears. Ropolo will come set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking pitch misses just high. 2-2 now the count to Isaiah Rivas, the first baseman. One of the 4 Bastrop runs back in the bottom of the second inning. Steps in here, 1 for 2 in the ball game. And a 2-2 count with no outs and a runner at first. The 2-2 pitch. And a breaking ball, a swing and a miss. Beautiful pitch there by Kyle Ropolo. Records the first out of the inning on the strikeout. First of the inning for Ropolo, 6th of the ball game by Eagle pitchers. And that'll bring up Mason McClanahan. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Popped out to the catcher Pernica in foul territory back in the second inning. Grounded out to the shortstop Hellman in the 4th. Runner leads off first, held on by Leininger. Ropolo comes set. The first pitch to McClanahan. He sends the ball down the left field line. A long run for Nations, and he's not going to be able to get to it. It's a base hit, and that's going to allow the runner to get up to second base, but that's it there as Nations gets it in quickly. And so a one-out single, the first hit given up by Ropolo. Has runners on first and second base with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. And in steps the pitcher now for the Bears, number 30, Easton Allen, the number 9 hitter in the lineup. Allen steps in, 1 for 2 in the ball game. Had an RBI single in the second, struck out swinging in the 4th. Steps in, steps back out, now back in. As he readies for his at-bat here with 1 out and runners on first and second in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kyle Ropolo comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. The pitch to Allen. A swing and a miss. Strike 1. 0-1 the count to Easton Allen, the junior right-handed pitcher. The number 9 hitter for the Bears. Started out as the designated hitter, now in relief.
He's not a small person, and so the strike zone is pretty good sized strike zone.
He's got a lot of area to protect. A tall junior right-handed hitting batter. He steps back in from the right side. Ropolo gets a sign from Pernica, comes set, the 0-1 pitch, and a ball pulled foul by giant proportions. Back over towards the track in the practice football field.
Watch out, football players.
Yeah, 0-2 the count there is Allen way out in front of that off-speed pitch. And now the count, no balls and 2 strikes to Allen with runners on first and second and 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Bastrop trying to cut into this 3-run Georgetown lead. Runners on first and second and 1 out. Ropolo set, the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Allen strikes out for the second time in the ball game, but more importantly, the second out of the inning for the Bears. Second strikeout in a row, or second strikeout in the inning by Ropolo. And that takes us back to the top of the Bastrop lineup to Austin Tabola. He's 0 for 2 in the 0 for 2 in the ball game. Reached on an error back in the first inning. Walked and scored a run in the second, and then popped out to the first baseman Fluitt in the 4th inning. Steps in here with 2 outs and runners on first and second. Ropolo comes set, a look back at second base. The first pitch, and popped up left side of the infield. Andrew Nations is going to come in and call for it and make the catch in left field. F7 in the book to retire Tabolo and the Bears here in the bottom of the 6th. No runs on 1 hit. 1 error and 2 base runners left on. After 6 complete innings, Georgetown 7, Bastrop 4. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. go to the top of the 7th back here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow. Borrow from Morrow. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. Proud sponsor, Georgetown Eagle Baseball and SHN Sports. Go to the top of the 7th. Talon Ball, Riley Leininger, Eli Hellman due up to face off against Easton Allen. Talon Ball's first pitch is up high and inside for ball 1. Talon 1 for 3 on the day. 2 strikeouts. That sandwich and 2 RBI triple back in the 3rd inning. Let's see. Sandwich sounds good right now, I ain't gonna lie. As Talon Ball steps back in here. 1 ball, no strikes. Easton Allen on for his 2nd inning of work in relief. The 3rd pitcher for the Bears here in the ballgame. Works out of the windup now with no runners on. Talon Ball back in. The 1-0 pitch from Allen. And that one's on the inside corner for a called strike. 1-1 to Talon Ball. The Eagles have put up 2 runs in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and 1 in the 6th inning. 7 runs on 3 hits and 2 errors. Bears put up 4 in the bottom of the 2nd on 6 hits and 1 error. The 1-1 pitch to Ball. It gets the outside corner call for strike 2. 1-2 the count to the junior second baseman.
Be nice to put on some insurance runs.
If it's going to be a long game, extend it and put some runs on here. You'd love to see that. Give Ropolo a little more cushion. Going to the bottom of the 7th. The 1-2 pitch. Ball grounds it right back to Allen. He fields it, trots towards first, makes the throw to Rivas. And that's a defensive switch at first base. Defensively, that's Jacob Piercy over at first base in place of Rivas for the Bears. So Piercy makes the play. 1-3 on the putout to retire Ball for out number 1. And that'll bring up Riley Leininger, the first baseman. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Walked and scored a run in the 2nd. Popped out to 3rd in the 3rd inning and flew out to center field back in inning number 5. Leininger steps in here. First pitch from Allen. Down low for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Leininger. Easton Allen, the junior right-hander, came on with 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning. Walked his first batter faced and then got Brady Peters to pop out for the 3rd out of the inning. Now 1 out in the top of the 7th, the 1-0 pitch, and Leininger takes it low for ball 2. 2-0 the count. I tell you what, if you just look from the left field line all the way to the right side, it's a beautiful night for baseball. When I look past Birkelbach Field, I get nervous.
Oh yeah, yeah. it's they're having a heck of a time up there north of us. Our friends in Waco and Killeen and Temple are up next.
The 2-0 pitch, up and away, ball 3. Up and away it was. And now 3-0 count to Riley Leininger with Eli Hellman, the shortstop, on deck for the Eagles. Allen gets the sign from Regalado. The 3-0 pitch misses outside, ball 4. A 1-out base on balls issued by by Easton Allen, his 2nd walk of the ball game.
Texted my daughter Emily. She's over at A&M. I said, pay attention to the weather tonight till at least 1 o'clock. So if anybody's listening, have any students over there in College Station, they're affected too, and they need to be looking alive. I don't know how much partying's going on tonight, but what is it, Wednesday?
She should be studying.
She should be. Mine Art could.
My goat hobbler better be in the house studying.
She ought to be.
Leininger leads off first. The first pitch to Hellman on the inside corner for a called strike. Hellman 0 for 2 in the ball game. Grounded out to the 3rd baseman back in the 3rd inning. Popped out to first base in the 5th inning. Laid down a beautiful sacrifice bunt back in inning number 2. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at first. A 1-out walk by Riley Leininger as he leads off first base, being held on by Piercy. Allen moving to the stretch. He'll throw over to first base, but Leininger back standing easily at first base. I tell you what, the story of the night when it comes down to Bastrop being behind by 3 runs right now is the 11 base on balls issued by Bastrop pitching tonight. And the Eagles making that pay off. Throw over to first. Leininger dives back in this time safely. But those 11 runs have come back to haunt the Bastrop Bears. 5 of the 7 runs scored, the runners that scored, reached base by a walk. And so that has come back to haunt the Bears as they trail by 3, 7-4. Leininger, a huge lead, and he's off on the pitch. Pitch down to the turf. Regalado does a good job just to keep it in front of him. And Leininger, a great jump there. He had a huge lead. Now down at second base is Leininger with 1 out. And a 1-0 or a 1-1 count to Eli Hellman. Here in the top of the 7th. Hellman back in from the right side. Easton Allen gets a sign from Regalado. Comes set in the stretch. A look back at second base. The 1-1 pitch. And this one inside. Ball 2. 2-1 now to Hellman. As Eli kind of bends, the little matrix move, bends inside out there to avoid the pitch from hitting him. And now a 2-1 count to Hellman. On deck, the left-handed hitting left fielder, Andrew Nations. The 2-1 pitch, and Hellman sends it into left center field. The fly ball, it's going to curl towards left field. Elijah Vaquera is going to make the catch. Tagging up from second is Leininger, and he'll move into third base easily. And so F7 in the book for out number 2 to retire Hellman. But now Leininger just 90 feet away if Andrew Nations can score the runner from third base. Nations steps in 0 for 1 in the ball game. He struck out in the 3rd inning, but more importantly, he reached base on a base on balls in the 2nd and 6th inning and came around to score twice here in the ball game. 2 of those base on balls that have victimized the Bastrop Bears to come around and be run scored. Nations steps in with 2 outs and a runner at third. Allen from the windup. The first pitch to Nations, low and inside, ball 1. Seven to 4, Georgetown leads it over Bastrop here in the top of the 7th inning. Bastrop, the home team tonight in the rainout makeup. The 1-0 pitch to Nations, low and outside, ball 2. Big storm passed through last night. We got to visit underneath the overpass to let the storm pass before coming home last night. The field just not playable there at Bastrop after that big rainstorm hit quickly after rainstorms the last couple of weeks. So making it up here today, the Bastrop Bears, the home team here in game number 1. The 1-1 pitch to Nations, low and inside, ball 3. Sorry, it wasn't 1-1. It was 2-1. Let's see. I'm confused. I have 3-0 in my book. I don't think they've been close. Let's see what the umpire will give a sign, and he hasn't. So we'll see what the count is here to Andrew Nations. Allen from the windup gets the sign. The pitch to Nations. And a ball hit into left center field, and that's going to be a 2-out RBI single for Andrew Nations. Don't worry about the count. Just get the run on the board, and that's what Andrew Nations does with 2 outs. A beautiful at-bat there. Scores Leininger. And now an 8-4 lead, and in steps Jackson Rainey. Nope, not Jackson Rainey. A pinch hitter as Reese Herrera will come on to hit in the designated hitter spot. Herrera, the junior catcher. Step in here and pinch hit for Jackson Rainey in the top of the 7th inning. Rainey was 0 for 2 in the ball game. Reached on a base on balls back in the 4th inning, and now Allen comes set. Off and running his Nations. He'll steal second base easily. On the first pitch there to Herrera. Andrew Nations, an RBI base hit with 2 outs. Just the 4th hit of the ball game by the Eagles. That pitch missed to Herrera, so it's a 1-0 count to Reese Herrera. Even a plane up in the air flying around here at the local Georgetown airport. Allen comes set. The 1-0 pitch to Reese Herrera. Up and in. Herrera being told by teammates in the dugout to wear it. Herrera did his best impersonation of an escape artist there. He moved out of the way and took it high and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. to Herrera. The 2-0 pitch goes high off the glove of Regalado, and that's going to allow Nations to move up to third on that pass ball. Dave, we've said it before, and we'll say it again.
It's a 2-out rally. You got 2 outs, but you got 3-0, and you're running the bases. And it's unfortunately for Bastrop, it's boiling down to their catcher not able to, control the ball in his hand. And
a lot of balls kicking off his glove.
He's not blocking well. He's not throwing it.
The 3-0 pitch to Herrera. Misses low, ball 4, a 2-out walk. Has runners on the corners now for the Eagles. And that's the 12th walk of the ball game issued by the Bears. Runners on the corners for Chance Pernica. The catcher will step in. Pernica 1 for 1 on the night. Singled back in the first. In the second inning, it was a 2 RBI single. And then he's reached on base the next 2 times, 4th and 6th innings on base on balls. So Pernica's reached base all 3 appearances at the plate tonight. Steps in here with runners on the corners and 2 outs. The first pitch, breaking pitch across for a called strike.
Even just, I hate to harp on it, but even just a simple catch right there, it plops out of his glove, and he's got to jump up and drop the helmet and try and gather that. You got guys on base. You can't be fooling around. You've got to shore that up.
So the count to Andrew Nations at the time of his hit was 2 balls and 1 strike. He took the 2-1 pitch into left field for the RBI single. So that was the count, just to correct that, to make sure we had it right. The pitch here misses low and outside. The breaking pitch just misses for ball 1. 1-1 now the count to Chance Pernica as Reese Herrera's down at first base. And Andrew Nations down at third base for the Eagles with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. 1 run across, has a 4-run lead for Georgetown, 8-4. Throw over to first, and Herrera dives back in safely there as Piercy was holding him on. 1 ball, 1 strike to the catcher, Chance Pernica. Runner at third, a runner at first. Herrera with a big lead at first base. Allen pitches. Herrera will still second base. Now Nations will try to score at home, and he does. As the throw down went to second, Nations headed for home, and he scores, and that allows Herrera to move all the way up to third. As Peter Bacon, the shortstop, cut it off and threw back home, but it got back past Regalado. So Nation scores on the beautiful delayed double steal there. Herrera was off and running. He stole second base. And Nation stole home.
You go back, if the catcher doesn't throw down there, that doesn't happen. It's just you've got to play smarter than that.
Gave up another run.
Yeah.
And now a 5-run lead for the Eagles. The 1-2 pitch, and Pernica pops it up right side of the infield. Tabola calls for it, makes the catch. For out number 3. P4 in the book to retire Pernica, but not before Georgetown picks up 2 more runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 6.5 innings, Georgetown 9, Bastrop 4, the last out inning of the ball game. Coming up next here on SHN. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, back here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow. Matt's team's dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. Proud sponsor, Georgetown Eagle Sports and SHN. G-Town Lumber and Supply brought you today's starting lineups and the second inning of Georgetown Eagle baseball. J-Town Lumber and Supply, located 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas. They serve general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers. Specializing in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, and doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, K-Dat Lumber and Corbels. Hometown service like none other, that is G-Town Lumber and Supply. Visit them, 9400 Brown Lane or gtownlumberandsupply.com. Kyle Ropolo on for a second inning of relief here in the bottom of the 7th, and he'll face off. First pitch thrown is up and away, ball 1 against the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Bastrop Bears. Owen Boone, Elijah Vaquera, and John Dawson. A 1-0 count to the left-handed hitting Boone. He's 1 for 3 on the day. The 1-0 pitch fouled off back behind home plate. 1-1 now the count to Owen Boone. He was the initial first pitcher, then went out to play right field for the Bastrop Bears defensively after he came off the mound for Bastrop. Steps back in here to lead things off in the bottom of the 7th for the Bears. The 1-1 pitch from Ropolo. Outside corner, called strike 2. Beautiful pitch by Kyle Ropolo. If you watch the bottom of the 6th inning, you witness something you don't see very often, and that's a base hit allowed by Kyle Ropolo. As the Bears were able to drop one, McClanahan down the left field line. Just fair. Ropolo only has a .043 batting average against in district play. The 1-2 pitch up and away, ball 2, and now a 2-2 count to Owen Boone with Elijah Vaquera, the left fielder, on deck. He's 1 for 3 in the ball game. Ropolo comes set from the stretch, works from the first base side of the rubber. The 2-2 pitch, and a ball slashed foul off the third base dugout screen. And Owen Boone stays alive in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cloud cover starting to pick up a little bit here in Georgetown as the sun sets off to our left. But this game has gotten in, and the flags are drooping down. It makes you just kind of nervous of what could be around the corners. It seems like that calm before the storm. The 2-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss, strike 3 for out number 1. Boone down on strikes. The third strikeout by Ropolo. And now that'll bring up the left fielder, Elijah Vaquera. He's 1 for 3. He had a single back in the first inning, struck out looking in the second, struck out swinging in the 5th. Any updates on the Storms there, Dave? First pitch to Vaquera is an off-speed breaking pitch. It catches the outside corner for a called strike. 0-1 the count with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. The 0-1 pitch from Ropolo. Breaking pitch, catches the outside corner, called strike 2. 2 beautiful pitches, exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful.
0-2 the count now to Vaquera, the left fielder. Elijah steps in from the left side now with no balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Georgetown trying to get out of this with a win, the 9-4 lead. This ball hit out towards second base. Talon ball ranges to his left, fields it, throws to Leininger at first base in time. For out number 2, 4-3 on the put out to retire Vaquero. And the Bears come up now. John Dawson steps in. The Bears down to their last out here in the bottom of the 7th inning, trailing by 5. Tomorrow night, the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show live from the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street. Come join us there on the patio. A fun time talking baseball with Coach Vieira and a couple of players. First pitch misses outside for ball 1.
Every time you mention Golden Rule, I think about their deviled eggs.
Oh, I do too.
Oh, man, I could eat those till I shouldn't anymore.
One of many great items on the menu there at the Golden Rule. Proud sponsors of the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. The 1-0 pitch.
Nice.
Backdoor breaking ball across the inside corner. 1-1 count to John Dawson. He's 1 for 2 on the game. Struck out in the first, hit by a pitch in the third, singled in the 5th. The 1-1 pitch from Ropolo. Misses outside for ball 2. 2-1 the count. But there on the patio, an opportunity to talk baseball with Coach Vieira. Maybe Kelly comes out and visits. Maybe Dave. We don't know. Could be a whole cast of characters tomorrow night.
Maybe something you've never heard of before.
6:45. We start there on the patio. 2-1 pitch. Fouled off to the screen.
1 out. 1 strike.
Bears down to their final strike of the night. Georgetown looking to improve to 12-1 in district play. See, busy week of baseball. Game here tonight. Friday night here back at home against Bastrop, and Saturday against Cedar Ridge. The 2-2 pitch, and a ball fouled back out of play over the clamshell. And the count remains 2-2 to John Dawson. But 6:45 tomorrow night, a couple of players from the Eagles will join us along with Coach Vieira. Talk Eagle baseball as we talk kind of a pre-playoff talk and scenarios as we look towards the playoffs. But more importantly, as we talk about the last week and today's game with Coach Vieira. Strikeout swinging for out number 3. Fourth strikeout of the night for Ropolo, and the ball game comes to an end. Georgetown wins it 9-4 as Ropolo comes in and shuts down the 7th inning in order for the Bears. Georgetown improves to 18-12-1 on the year, 12-1 in district play. The Bastrop Bears fall to, let's see here, 10-18-1 and 4-9 in district play. These two teams will meet again on Friday night back here at Eagle Field at 7 p.m. start. First pitch, 6:45 pregame live on SHN. Quick timeout. We'll go down. I'll visit with Coach Vieira, and we'll sign off for the night. You're listening to Georgetown Eagle Baseball live on SHN. We're back here live on the field with head coach Jordan Vieira. Coach, we go to 12-1 in district. Doesn't have to be pretty. In the paper, it just says how many. It doesn't say how. And that's a good thing tonight. An ugly baseball game, but it turns into a victory, a 9-4 win for your Eagles. Talk about this one over Bastrop.
You know, Riley Leininger went out and gave us a pretty good start. He had one rough inning, kind of got out of sorts a little bit. A couple bleeder hits, wiping the blood off of it after picking it up, and then ended up issuing a walk. And hi, baby. And then they got the hit to drive in a couple. So, you know, hats off for them for that one inning, for getting the big hit. And then after that, our guys responded well. You had Kyle Ropolo came in, did a great job in the back end. Got some pretty big 2-out hits. Chance Pernica with a big 2-out hit, and we ran the bases really well tonight. So, you know, didn't play great defense with a couple errors behind it. But ultimately, you know, when the hits come alive when they need to, you end up getting the hit that you need.
Able to get this game in after a rain out last night in Bastrop before the storms hit tonight. A big to try to keep this week on track. Yeah. We visit tomorrow night at the Golden Rule and the coaches show, and then Friday night back against Bastrop, and a Saturday tilt against the Cedar Ridge Raiders to finish off the non-district or the district and the regular season part of this. How important is it for this team to stay now focused through the rest of this week as the playoffs loom over next week?
You know, it's all just about us continuing to do the little things right. You know, when we run bases well, we're able to get to first base. We're able to do on our plans and do little stuff at the plate right, and then be able to fill up the strike zone, execute pitches when we need to. You know, those are the type of things that you're looking at as you're heading into the playoffs if we're on track. And right now we're doing a pretty good job at that. So, you know, we're just gonna try and string together another good one on Friday, and then turn around on Saturday and do it again. You know, we're in the mindset of trying to win a series There's 3 games a week, and so that's what we're trying to do. Just trying to win 2 out of 3 this week.
Well, let's enjoy the evening and hopefully a safe evening with these storms, and we'll visit tomorrow night at the Golden Rule.
Sounds great.
Congrats,
Thanks a lot.
Coach.
Appreciate it.
The Georgetown Eagles advance to 12-1 on the year in district play with this big win, 9-4 over the Bastrop Bears. Tomorrow night, 606 South Church Street. If you got nothing else to do, join us, 6:45 p.m. We talk Eagle baseball on the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show with Coach Jordan Vieira and a couple of Eagle players. But join us live there. If you can't, it'll be on SHN. And then Friday night, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first pitch. The Bastrop Bears come back to Eagle Field. And the Eagles will get to be the home team on their own field on Friday night. And Saturday tilt against Cedar Ridge at 1 p.m. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Eagles victorious 9-4 over the Bastrop Bears. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind to everyone. Be safe tonight with these storms. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.